Exciting, thrilling, awesome. Let's take a look.
What's up, Met fans? Welcome back to Talking Mets at Rob. How is everybody doing today on this Saturday, 6:40 p.m. Game 2, Mets versus Braves? It is all tied up once again, 98-59 for both teams respectfully. And now we are here at game 2 with Max Scherzer and Kyle Wright on the mound for both teams. And yesterday was an interesting game nonetheless. A struggling, if you want to call it a struggling DeGrom, who for the last month hasn't been DeGrom-like. If you just look at the numbers yesterday, without looking at the name attached to it, you can see, well, it was like six innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, and everything in between, or 3 runs, excuse me, and 11 strikeouts. You're like, wow, that's a pretty good stat line. That's a quality start. But then you see DeGrom's name attached to it, and you're like, wow, that's definitely not DeGrom. Again, you get a 1-0 lead. You want DeGrom to hold a 1-0 lead, not actually been what DeGrom has been doing over the last month, which has been giving up leads. And that's been his big problem. And the home run ball has been the biggest problem out of everything else. You know, he'll have 9, 10 strikeouts, like yesterday, 11 strikeouts, and still give up a couple of home runs or a big home run to either have the opposing team tie the game or go ahead. And that was the problem with DeGrom yesterday. But we can blame DeGrom all we want. The Mets had opportunities early on in the game against Max Fried to take more than a 1-0 lead. Yes, the defensive play of Riley was a big cause of it, and how defensively he basically saved a couple of runs in the first 2 innings of that ball game. But you look at the 9th inning when Kenley Jansen is absolutely garbage, and the Mets are flailing away at pitches that are not even going to be strikes. And I'm not going to kill Alvarez in that spot, because what else did you expect him to think? To hit a grand slam. That's all everybody was thinking. Nobody was even thinking about a single. And you shouldn't think that Alvarez would think anything else. He had a couple of good at-bats before that. He got down 0-2 in his last at-bat and got back to a full count. The first inning where Riley made that awesome play at third base to turn a double play, he hit the ball 108 miles an hour. So you can't do nothing there. So I'm not going to kill Alvarez, but the offense has to pick it up. All right? The motto of the Braves, it's been like this all year. Home runs or strikeouts. You keep them in the ballpark, there's a pretty good chance you're going to beat them. The Mets failed to do that yesterday, and that was the big reason why this Mets team lost yesterday. You got the strikeouts, but you didn't keep them in the ballpark. Other than that, they didn't get a lot of hits in this ballgame. It's not like they racked together 10 hits. They got, what was it, 6 hits, if I'm not mistaken? Maybe 7, I think it was. They got 3 solo home runs. They got a couple of doubles. Other than that, they were basically stagnant. And if you kept them in the ballpark, the game would have been a different ballgame. But that's how the Braves play. It's been like that from the beginning of April until right now. That's basically what they do. They pitch well, and they hit home runs. That's how it's always been with the Braves this year. But if you don't keep them in the ballpark, you might as well walk out of the ballpark and go home, because you're not beating the Braves. That's how good they are. But when you look at it, the Mets had opportunities yesterday, and they didn't capitalize. That's basically what you have to look at when it came to the offense. Again, you give up only 3 runs to the Atlanta Braves, as DeGrom did. I think Buck has a little bit of a blame in this as well, putting in Tyler McGill in the 7th, which made absolutely no sense. That's the biggest problem when it comes to Buck Showalter, because he's done this a lot this year. He actually, when the Mets are down 1-2 runs later on in the game, 6th, 7th, 8th inning, he doesn't put his A relievers in. I talked about this yesterday during the game, right? When it looked like DeGrom possibly was coming out of the game, I kept on saying, all right, well, you got Lugo and Ottavino. It kind of makes sense to, to bring those guys in. Even Drew Smith, for that matter. Put one of those guys in who basically are your 6th, 7th, 8th guys for the most part. Put one of those guys in is a better chance of not giving up runs and keeping it a 2-run deficit instead of, at the time, it was a 4-run deficit. So that's the problem that I have with Buck Showalter there. it didn't make sense to put in Tyler McGill in that spot. It made no sense. He's a guy who hasn't looked good at all since he came back from the IL and put him in the bullpen. I still, to this day, again, where are all the Met fans now who killed me about Jeff McNeil early on in the season? But where are you now about Tyler McGill saying, oh, we don't need nobody in the bullpen. We're getting Tyler McGill back in the bullpen. He is not a guy that I believe can be a good bullpen arm. The problem with him is that he has a very straight fastball and he doesn't throw strikes. When you got a reliever that has a straight fastball, who is not even throwing as hard as he did as a starter, and doesn't throw strikes, that's a recipe for disaster. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. Who knows if you're losing only 3-2 after Nito hit that home run going to the ninth instead of 5-2 going into the ninth. Maybe Lindor, when he let off that inning, wouldn't have tried to swing for the fences, or Francisco Alvarez wouldn't swing for the fences. You would have a situation where you have bases loaded with 1 out. You wouldn't be looking for a home run. You needed a base hit to tie the game, a base hit to go ahead. But that's the problem that I have with putting B relievers in with games that the Mets are trailing, that it's a close game, 2 or 3 run lead. You still have to go with your A guys and worry about tomorrow, right? It's not like you have, if Taijuan Walker or Carrasco was going today, all right, you might want to save a couple of pieces in your bullpen because you don't expect these guys to go 7 or 8 innings. But you do have Max Scherzer, who is a bulldog who will go. Even if he has an outing not like Scherzer and gives up a couple of runs, he'll go 100 pitches and try to go to the 7th inning to do the best he can, keeping the team in the game. That's what he does. So you're not going to worry about using a guy in the 4th inning of a game unless he gets hurt. So saying what Buck Showalter said pregame today made no sense. He was like, oh, well, I have to think about today. I had to worry about the next day. No, because if you win yesterday, if you kept that game close yesterday, and it was only a 3-2 ball game and you kept them at 3 runs, who knows that at bat that Alvarez says maybe he wasn't trying to swing for the fences. Maybe he was just trying to look for a line drive that found some grass. So a lot of things could have happened differently. You know what? A 1-run lead is a little more nerve-wracking for Kenley Jansen than a 3-run lead, right? Because I think he would have blew up if it was a 1-run lead. I think he would have basically gave the game to the Mets. And he nearly made it extremely interesting yesterday by making the bases loaded in the 9th inning. And that's the biggest thing that I have. If we're winning today, there's no doubt I expect Buck to put the Lugos, the Ottavinos, the Diaz's in. But when you're 2 runs behind in a late in the game, you got to put your A guys in. You got to keep the score. You got to keep the deficit at what it was, not experiment with Tyler McGill, where he's had 7 relief appearances, and every one of them he's gave up 2 or 3 hits and at least 1 run. You can't have that against a team that you're trying to come back from in a game. It makes no sense. And I can guarantee you, no doubt about it, if the Mets are trailing by 1 or 2 runs tonight, and it's the 7th inning, and Scherzer has 100 pitches, you're going to take him out. Do you expect Ottavino? Do you expect Lugo? I don't. I expect David Peterson. And that's the problem that I have with Buck Showalter. But before anything had to be done with Buck, it came down to the Mets offense. Early in the game, they had their opportunities, didn't get it done. Late in the game, they had opportunities, could not get it done. They had Max Fried leaving the 5th inning because he was ill. Now, granted, don't get me wrong. The bullpen arms that the Braves brought in, they're all world besides Jansen, right? I still don't understand why Jansen's the closer and why Iglesias is the 8th inning guy. Again, that's not a bad idea to have Iglesias in the 8th inning, but you have to have a competent closer than Jansen, all right? Nobody should be happy. A Brave fan can't be happy with Jansen because he's a ticking time bomb. He always is. So with that said, the Mets had opportunities in this game. In my opinion, the Mets blew this game yesterday. They had opportunities to jump on the Braves early on in the game. They took a 1-run lead for mistakes by Eddie Rosario. They didn't do it. They could have had 2 runs in the game. Again, defensive plays is defensive plays. You can't call luck there because Raleigh is a Gold Glove caliber third baseman. Should win the Gold Glove, but defensive analytics say he's not that good of a third baseman, which is ironic because it's stupid with those analytics. But the Mets had opportunities to score runs in that ball game, and they didn't do it. The other problem that I have is 3 starts in a row now for Jacob deGrom. Once the team gave him the lead, I don't care if it's 1 run. You're a guy who said before the season started you are opting out, no doubt about it. You claim you are the man. Why don't you go out next inning and put up zeros when your team gave you a lead? That's what an ace is supposed to do. That's the problem that I have with Jacob deGrom. And it's been a problem for the last 3 starts. Even though the first start in September, it wasn't so bad. He didn't give up the lead, but he didn't pitch to deGrom capabilities. And that's the bigger problem I had. Like I said, he got the stuff. When you strike out 11 batters, you got the stuff. Clearly, he found his game after the 3rd inning. But you gave up the lead, which is no matter who you are. I don't care if you're the Braves, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Yankees. If you have the ace of the staff on your team and you give them a lead and your ace gives it right back that same inning, that's demoralizing for any team. And, giving up back-to-back home runs, granted, to really good hitters in the Braves lineup, and they were solo home runs. I get that. But you can't leave a cement mixer slider in the middle of the plate to one of the better hitters or better home run hitters in baseball in Austin Riley. Matt Olson, if you throw anything letter high, he's not hitting the ball. He's a high strikeout guy. There's no ball that should be over the plate against Olson. He left it over the plate. Olson crushes it. What he does in balls in the middle of the plate. So with that said, we're in game 2. Last night is last night. The Mets are still in the driver's seat. Technically, only have to win 1 game to have complete control of the NL East. All they have to do is take care of their own business, and they don't have to look scoreboard watch after this series if they take 1 game, right? It's pivotal to take 1 game. I said this yesterday. The Braves need a sweep to control their own destiny. Anything other than that, the Mets have control. That's why 1 win is utterly important. That's why I think yesterday Bucks spit the bit with yesterday's game, because there was a lane for the Mets to win this ball game. Keeping it at a 1 or 2 run ball game before the 8th inning was pivotal, and it didn't happen. And that's the problem that I have with Buck Showalter and everything else. But with that said, we have Max Scherzer on the mound. We got a 20-game winner in Kyle Wright on the mound. Kyle Wright has not pitched well against the Mets this year. Has a little over a 6.5 ERA, but he has a 3.15 ERA with 20 wins. And he's been good this year for the Braves. I don't know what type of offense the Mets are going to provide, because no matter if it's a good pitcher or a bad pitcher, the Mets find a way of not scoring runs. Again, the Mets' recipe for wins and to go ahead and to play the way they usually play when they're going well is to score early, and that's what they need to do. They got to score early. They got to put pressure on the Braves. They have to do that, right? Let's not have Kyle Wright mowing you down like he's Cy Young, because he's not. He's a good pitcher, but you can hit him. And we'll see how it goes. And again, I don't expect Scherzer to pitch badly. Again, couldn't he give up runs? Any pitcher can give up home runs. And with a home run hitting lineup, once again, I repeat myself way too much, but some people seem to don't get it. It's either home runs or strikeouts for the Braves. You keep them in the ballpark, there's a real good chance of beating the Braves. And that's what the Mets have to do. And we'll see if the Mets can do that. Omar, I saw a couple of your comments now about hitting guys, and you said this against the Marlins as well. hitting somebody because they hit a home run off your pitcher, maybe you should hit DeGrom in the head with a ball because clearly he couldn't do his job yesterday. So maybe you should hit him in the head, not one of the hitters of the Braves who are trying to hit a home run against DeGrom. So I'm sorry, Omar. It's stupid comments. I don't deal with that. I told you that the last time when you were on here about the Marlins. Why are you going to hit a young kid in Cruz who hits a home run off of a pitcher and you get mad because the kid's trying to stay in the major leagues and he's trying to improve his stats just because he's beating your Mets? Too bad. Maybe you should complain about the pitcher who gave it up, not the batter who's trying to stay in the big leagues. And what is Riley supposed to do? Strike out in that situation? Like, oh, DeGrom's pitching? All right, let me just hold my bat into my shoulders and let him strike me out. No, they're trying to win a division. Come on, Omar. It doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. Sandra, what happens in the postseason? Well, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but 6 teams from each league, American League, National League, make the postseason, and then depending on where you're seated, you play in a wild card round or you get a bye and you play in a divisional round. Wild card rounds, you have to win to make it to the division series, and then so far, so forth. Keep on winning, you get to the next level of the playoffs. That's basically what it is. So with that said, guys, as always, don't forget to hit on that like button. We are waiting for the game to start. It's a little over 20 minutes away until game time. The game is on Fox today, not on SNY. So no more SNY games for this series. You got a Fox game today, ESPN game tomorrow. I can assure you Braves and Met fans are not happy about that because it always seems like they either go one way or another. Whatever. It seems like they try to get everybody on their side. So if it's, like when they have a Saturday Fox game, they're probably going to talk really good again about the Braves because they usually do that. If the Mets would have won yesterday, they'll talk really good again about the Mets. That's what Fox does. That's how they are. They basically, they don't have their own opinions. They just figure things out and just go with the flow. And ESPN is a complete disaster. So Braves and Met fans will probably complain about that broadcast the entire game. So Fox game today, 7:20 start. Max on the mound, Kyle Wright on the mound. We're going to go over the pitching matchup and, of course, the lineup just now. Let me just put up game day, and we'll be ready to go. Give me 1 second. Alrighty. There we go. Alrighty, there we go. So, as you know, Kyle Wright for the Braves. Jacob DeGrom, Max Scherzer for the Mets. Mets lineup for tonight, a little bit different than you saw yesterday because there is a righty on the mound, so it's going to be a little bit different. Brendan Nimmo leading off, playing center field. Pete Alonso batting second, playing first base. Francisco Lindor batting third, playing shortstop. Jeff McNeil cleaning up today, playing second base. Eduardo Escobar batting fifth, playing third base. Daniel Vogelbach DH and batting sixth. You got Mark Canha batting seventh, playing left field. Tyler Naquin, who made the final out yesterday, striking out, batting eighth, playing right field. And Tomas Nido, who hit a home run yesterday to get the Mets a little bit closer to right center field, batting ninth and catching. So that is your lineup for the Mets. And we're going to quickly go across and look at the Braves lineup, which will be very similar as always, since why do they need to change the lineup? They mash lefties and righties. Acuna leading off, playing right field. Swanson playing shortstop, batting second. Harris batting third, playing center field. Riley cleaning up third base. Olsen first base, batting fifth. Darno catching, batting sixth. Ozuna DH and batting seventh. Rosario batting eighth, playing left field. And Arcia batting ninth and playing second base. So that is your two lineups for the Mets and the Braves. Game time at 7:20. Max Scherzer, Kyle Wright on the mound. So with that said, guys, don't forget to hit on that like button. Let's get more people in the stream. As always, it's always fun to have more people in the stream. We had between 280 and 320 the entire live stream. That was a lot of fun. It was a fun time to go back and forth with Mets and Braves fans. It was a back and forth. People kept it for the most part. Baseball, and obviously you can root for your team, but keep it baseball related. I had that little rant yesterday to keep it baseball related. You can be a Braves fan. You can stay on this channel. You can have fun as a Braves fan. You can talk your crap, and that's okay. But keep it baseball related, and it will be okay on this channel. Again, once again, YouTube has been a big problem with sports channels in general, with comments by subscribers, comments by content creators as well. All right, so it's not up to me to get more moderators. I had to get moderators. So if you do get timed out, if you do get blocked, no, it's not personal. It's just that you went a little too far, and it gets to the point where YouTube wants certain things away from a stream, and I can't do nothing about that. That's how it goes. So, Peter, how would I get the game day thing? Well, I just go on the MLB.com or go on your MLB app on the phone. Let me look at a couple of comments here. Yeah, well, apparently, according to YouTube, the email that I got, they said that in 2021 into 2022, it's been extremely bad. I don't know if people were just needing everything, with the pandemic and really no sports for the most part, and they couldn't go to games. People got very hostile, and it got worse when fans were allowed to go back. And I guess the fact of the matter is, that's just the way it is. But there's been problems. I mean, I haven't seen craziness like racist, sexist comments on my channel. According to YouTube, there's been a ton of that on other sports channels. They didn't really make it specific if it was baseball channels, football channels, soccer channels, whatever channel, college football channels. I don't know. But they did that, and I just wanted to keep it 100 with you guys and just let you know that it's not personal, because I embrace fans of other teams on this channel. I know some channels do not like to embrace other teams' fan bases on their channel, and that's their personal choice. But I like to have the back and forth, no matter if you're rooting for my team or not. So that's the way I feel, but I also have to abide by the rules and the platform that I'm using, which is YouTube. So that's what we're going to do going forward, at least through this season, and we'll see what happens after that. So there is moderators floating around the chat, and will time you out or possibly block you if they feel it's needed. And I gave them authority to do so. So it's nothing personal. It's just how it has to be for now. So with that said, once again, the game is on Fox if you're not sure where it's at. So it's a national game, so you should be able to get it around the country mostly. Again, I know there might be another game on Fox across the other way. I don't know. So it is what it is. We can't change it. Again, I know the Braves fans would want their broadcast. The Mets fans would want SNY's broadcast. You just can't get that sometimes. It's all about the mighty dollar with Major League Baseball and every sports organization. So that's just how we have to deal with it. The way I see it, it's not Apple TV. So, so it is what it is at this point. So that's the way I see it. It's not Apple TV. So I guess that's a plus. Because if it was Apple TV, I wouldn't be extremely happy about that. We might have to go to the radio call, but it is what it is. MB, on the next stream, I'll do it right now. I got too many things to open up. I don't want to get kicked off the stream. So, but I'll put you on as a moderator as well. No problem. The more the merrier, to be honest with you. YouTube loves to have about 10 moderators. I think I only have like 6. So, yeah, Apple TV is atrocious. Like, they got a little bit better with trying to get whoever's the home team, get a guy from a home broadcast on their broadcast, but it's still very bad. They don't know what they're doing. So I try to sync it up the best I can with the radio. When it's on Apple TV, it's more fun that way, and I like Howie and Wayne a hell of a lot better than I would waste my time listening to Apple TV, and that's about it. So. Oh, so it is Rays. Oh, I knew they were going to freaking do that. I don't even know why, because the Rays clinched the postseason berth, and the Astros have nothing to play for. So I don't know why they don't just make the Mets and Braves a national game for everybody. But, of course, why not? So if you can't watch the game, come on here. You get the game audio. You get game day up. You get fan reactions. You get my reaction. between innings during the game and all that stuff. So stick around. We had a fun yesterday. Again, weekends are a little bit different. Like we had a big crowd yesterday in the stream for Mets and Braves, so it was a lot of fun. Weekends are a little sketchy. It really depends. The weekends, more people do things on the weekends. They're off. They got family and everything like that. So I don't expect a huge crowd today. But again, when the Mets were coming back against the Marlins, it got over 400, and that was just mostly Met fans. So kind of funny how that works out. But again, usually when there's runs scored or there's a possibility of runs, there's runners in scoring position and it could be a big inning, that's when the uptick in viewers come. So that's how it seems like it works out. When you go live, we'll see. So once again, game is on Fox. Again, who the hell just said it? I'm sorry. Alien just said Fox is saying Mets and Braves or Rays Astros. Again, Alien's on the West Coast, I believe, so he's getting Rays and Astros, which kind of makes sense since the Astros are technically West Coast. Not really, but they are. So there you go. So with that said, we got about a little more than 10 minutes until game time, so make sure you hit on that like button. Let's get more fans into the stream. Have fun back and forth. That's always the good part about sports in general. Yeah, football. There's no pregame for Fox, so this game's not going to start at 7:20 because it's Fox. They're gonna go into a little, probably 10-minute pregame and then go right to the game. Because I think Channel 5, what is it, like Alabama or something like that, or Baylor or some crap like that. I think I saw. Oh, they changed. Okay, there's still football on, right? All right, of course they are. But what are you gonna do? So I didn't even have on 5. I was having on something else. They're showing college football stuff, but college football is dominant on Saturday. So I guarantee you, like 7:10 or so, 7:15, will go right to the MLB pregame. So my Michigan Wolverines 5-0, beating up Iowa 27-14. Yeah, Bravos. This is why I don't like ESPN. Sunday Night Baseball. There's really nothing on except for they have like a football station thing going for like showing all the highlights of the football games before baseball, Sunday Night Baseball. So I don't know. Again, this is why I don't like channels. Like I'm assuming SNY has their pregame on, and I'm assuming the Braves have their own pregame on their station. So that's why I'm looking at that right now. So it's stupid, but what are you gonna do? And SNY couldn't stay on past 7:00 because Fox has the rights to the game. So even the Braves network can't stay on for a pregame after 7:00 because of that. So yeah, but you know what? I try my best to be one of those sports YouTube channels that actually do TV sound rather than just the radio sound. And some don't even do sound. So that's why I really do appreciate Valhalla as a creator, because he does the volume and stuff like that. And we got some crazy graphic going on. He's really cool. Me and him are cool. We end up on our channel every now and then. It's hard for both of us to go on our channels and not just promote, but just show respect and go on their channel, go on his channel. But I'm doing a stream. He goes on a stream right after I'm getting off my stream for West Coast games and stuff like that. And he does football and all that other stuff. So, but I do appreciate that. Like I said, this is a new thing for 2022. I didn't do any sound last year when I did live stream during games. I only did, game day up there and just my reaction and calling game and watching the game and everything like that. So the sound is a new thing for 2022 and it became very popular. So you guys like it, and that's the most important part. PayPal, let's see. 86 did it the way. Well, yeah. Yeah. See, PayPal, I don't like to go back to 86 and go back to 95 or with the Braves. I don't like to go back for that because it's irrelevant at this point, right? This team isn't as good as the 86 team. Some might say that this Braves team is probably not as overall better than their 95 World Championship team. I don't know. You can have it's an opinion at this point, right? It's not a fact. Yes, the 86 team found a way to win. The 95 team rolled through the playoffs and won the World Series with the Braves. It's stupid to go back for history. That's why when people bring up history, and I don't like to bring up history when it comes to choking or winning World Series, because the past is the past. No matter what you might think might help the situation this year, it doesn't, right? What did Max Scherzer has to do with the Mets choking last year? Nothing, right? Mark Hanna, Starlin Marte, none of them. But was it really a choke job? No. The Mets had no pitching. After DeGrom, they had no pitching. So that's the other thing as well. But at the end of the day, people like to bring up history because, again, every franchise has somewhere in their history bad history, choking history. So you can bring that up when you want to troll somebody. And that's what people like to do. So there's no point PayPal in drilling them at all. What are they supposed to do? Like, yeah, you want to pitch inside? I think a problem with the DeGrom yesterday, he didn't pitch inside enough. And I'm not saying to drill anybody, but you want to pitch inside, establish the inside of the strike zone so they don't get a little bit uncomfortable in the box, so that outside corner can be your best friend, not hitting them. And it's not just about the Mets being hit. If you look at the players on the Mets roster, they're not even as a Met, but as other teams, when they were on other teams, they were getting hit at a big pace. Canna had 22 hits batsman as an Oakland A last year. No shock that he's getting hit a lot this year. Marte, the same thing. It's a little odd. Pete Alonso getting hit as much as possible. But again, the Mets are a hitting team that crowd the plate. What do you do to try to stop them from getting hits? Pitch inside. Balls are going to get away. Now, though, I think earlier in the season, teams like the Nationals, teams like the Phillies were trying to hit certain players. Yes. But to hit a guy, or just because he hit a home run off you yesterday, or, hit a home run yesterday for no reason. Like, there's no reason. Like, he's trying to win the division just as much as the Mets are. So, Canna got hit yesterday. So, like, they weren't trying to hit him, right? That was when the Braves were up. So it doesn't make sense to do that. I don't like drilling somebody when there's no cause for it. Is it annoying? Yes. But establish inside is not hitting somebody. If you want to establish inside, give a little up and in a little now and then to, pull them off the plate a little bit so you get that outside corner as your best friend. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. That's pitching, right? And that's what a lot of teams, especially the Braves, try to do against Mets hitting crowding the plate. They try to pitch inside. They don't want them to extend their arms. They extend their arms there's a better chance percentage-wise to get hits. So that's the whole difference. If you're purposely drilling somebody, do you want Max Scherzer in the first inning to drill Ronald Acuna in the back of the neck and the umpire throws him out of the game, and then what? Trevor Williams is going to come into the ball game. That's what you want? If that's what you want. Well, then enjoy it then, because that's just stupid. All right. Let me just check something really quick. Rob, I'm going to destroy my TV if you lose today. Mothman, don't destroy your TV. It's just money coming out of your pocket. Mothman, you're funny. You got a TV cart in Best Buy. Don't do that. You'll be okay. All right. Baseball night in somewhere. So Fox is finally 5 minutes until game time, shows up with baseball. Yeah, bravo, it's stupid. And listen, there is no way Buck Showalter is going to let that happen. All right. Scherzer is not stupid. This is a must-win game for both teams. Right? Look, can balls get away? Yes. You're trying to pitch inside. You hit the guy in the elbow, hit the guy in the ass. All right. It happens. But going after headhunting a guy because he hit you yesterday makes no sense. Again, you want Scherzer to throw the first pitch at Acuna's head, and the umpire is a little trigger happy and says, you're out of the game? Well, enjoy Trevor Williams in the ball game. That's the whole point. And you don't want to do that. There's no need for that for either team. You're both trying to win a division. All right. No reason. Would there be a little bit of a back and forth? Yeah, sure. Why not? But come on. Let's not do that. All right. So we got about 4 minutes until game time. We got Johnny Smoltz and Aaron Goldsmith on the call for Fox. Again, funny with John Smoltz, though, because you would think John Smoltz, Brave, great starter, great closer, would be like pro Braves, but I think he's very fair considering. And John Smoltz, he picked the Mets to win the division in the beginning of the year on the Fox broadcast. He actually did that. So that probably didn't make Brave fans happy. But again, look, I don't care if you're a Mets fan or a Braves fan. You just want announcers that are national to be neutral, right? Don't lean either way. You can talk about yesterday's game, but don't show any favoritism to any team because it's stupid when you do that. I haven't heard any update on Marte. There's a pretty good chance he's probably done for the regular season, and that's unfortunate for the Mets, but there's no excuse for the Mets. So it is what it is. I don't want to hear about, Marte is not in the lineup. That's why the Mets are losing. No, all right? You don't lose to the Nationals. You don't lose to the Marlins because Marte is missing, right? It's the same reason why in this situation, it's not like the Mets didn't get runners on base, right? Marte can't come up in every RBI situation. You just got to play better. It's just that simple. Every team has injuries. Figure it out, right? You're not a 98-win team just because of Starlin Marte, right? Both teams are probably going to be a 100-win team. You're not a 100-win team just because of Starlin Marte, all right? Yeah, he's a big part of it, but you do have two guys in your lineup that play every day that have 100 RBIs, and that's Lindor and Alonso. And those guys got to step up, right? Marte's not in the lineup. They got to step up. And a big proponent of why the Mets have struggled in September is none other than our leadoff hitter, Brandon Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo has not been the same guy that he was in April, May, and June. Hasn't been the same guy, has been the biggest problem why he's a spark plug for this team. And the bigger issue that we have is that if Marte don't take pitches, Nimmo doesn't take pitches, doesn't take his walks, his batting average dropped 30 points over the last month and a half because he's not getting on base. He is not putting him in a situation to be in better hitting counts. He's swinging earlier in counts, which is not Nimmo's game. When Nimmo struggles, he tends to try to swing for the fences. That's not his game. And when he does that, he strikes out a little bit more, which he's done lately. So if Nimmo gets it going a little bit, I think it will help the Mets get the lineup going a little bit more. No excuse that Marte's not in the lineup. You got two 100 RBI guys in Alonso and Lindor. They got to step it up. Nimmo's got to step it up as a leadoff hitter. McNeil has moved up in the lineup. He's a hitting machine. Lack of RBI situations when he hits. But again, I do like kind of lower in the lineup. He just does better there. Francisco Alvarez is not in the lineup. Vogelback is in the lineup. I can't go crazy about that because, give Alvarez a breather. After the game yesterday, a lot of emotions yesterday for him. So that's the way it is. All right. I can't PayPal. Sorry, buddy. But no. You keep on saying the same thing. It makes no sense. All right. So here we go. 1 minute until game time. You guys know the drill. Sorry about the Wi-Fi going in and out. My camera going in and out. And there we go. I think it's working. All right. There we go. So I'm just going to throw game day up there for the game to start. Give me a second. All right, guys. So the game's about to start. You know the drill. Game day, game audio. Let me know in the comments if you can hear the sound. Listen up. Here we go, guys. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
There's the breakdown of Kyle Wright. right. He's having a fantastic year. Wants to finish it on the high note and give the Braves an opportunity to take this series.
All right, here we go. First pitch coming up.
Brandon Nimmo leads things off for the Mets. Just missing ball one. One of the things that Kyle Wright does, he doesn't throw a high percentage of strikes with that sinker because he's really trying to get the hitters to expand the zone. But the Mets, as a team, do not expand the zone that much. That's why they're tough, and they put the ball in play. He dots him up at 96 this time. And both of these teams feature two of the best lineups in baseball. Mets coming to this one, 5th in the game in runs per game, 2nd in on base. They don't slug quite the same way the Braves do. Few teams do. They're a contact-heavy lineup as the count pushes to 1-2. The one thing last night, they faced a lot of curveballs out of Max Fried. Although being left-handed, they're going to have to face a lot of curveballs out of Kyle Wright.
Nah, those are 2 strikes.
It'll be interesting to see who
those are good pitches.
Who gets out of themselves in this huge game when they're tied. The appeal on the check swing, it does not go. And Bruce Dreckman, our home plate umpire, saying he did not go around. When you're in a game like this and you know as a pitcher how important it is, you want to face an aggressive team. You want to face a team that wants to do something at the plate. Because
all right,
pitches like that,
a better at bat by Nimmo. I like to see him working the count. I like to see that. 3-2. All right, Joe. Have a good day, buddy.
Just go up there and slug, swing and miss, and expand the zone. That's the 3rd highest contact rate in baseball, also the 3rd lowest strikeout rate in the game. Here comes the 3-2.
And that's a base hit for Nimmo. Good start. There you go. That's what Nimmo's got to do right there. Use the shift to your advantage. Lead off hit by Nimmo. Good job.
Meanwhile, Francisco Lindor just saw his on-base streak snapped at 19 games. McNeil, one of the game's great hitters, 2nd in the league, batting .322. Vogelbach is in the lineup with the right-handed right up on the mound. Tyler Nate put a couple of home runs in a previous start for Wright against the Mets this year, and Tomas Nido doing the catching. Alonso's National League ranks.
Pete, let's go.
Leads the game in RBIs. He's 2nd in the league with 40 home runs. And he's slugging well over 500. Having a monster year. Wave and a miss for strike one. Well, it's strength against strength because he's one of the best low ball hitters in the game. And I talked about him being a great bad ball hitter. He'll hit more for power out of the zone than most guys will even attempt to swing at. So it's going to be that ability to make him look like the pitch the strike in the bottom of the zone, but drop it out and get him to chase.
Got a let's go Mets chant in Atlanta. I do know there's a lot of Met fans there. I do know about 15 people that already are that went to the game yesterday and they're there today. So
ball strike to Alonso.
that was a pitch to hit right there. That was a hanging breaking ball, but he took it. 1-2.
To Alonso was never going to be a strike because it started in. It's one of those front door. It's a mistake breaking ball. He's trying to throw it on the outside part of the plate because where you can expand the zone is away down off the plate. Anything on the plate he can get to, and he can get to with power to all parts of the field.
Good follow-up by Alonso to staying out of bat. That was a nice pitch by Wright.
Since the start of last month, 9 home runs for Pete Alonso. Only 3 players in the game have hit more home runs in that span of time. And as you might imagine, Aaron Judge is one of them. Also, Mike Trout. Well, the one thing that Kyle Wright has done against right-handers, over 62% of the time they hit the ball on the ground. He's got one of the best ground ball rates you already mentioned, but against right-handers, he really gets them to hit it on the ground.
There you go, Pete. Lay off that slider.
So that brings in the double play ball, which he's had a few of them. I'm always jealous of the double play ball for those ground ball guys. 2 for the price of 1.
That gap at second base, where RC is playing left a little bit, basically next to second base. You got that whole right side for him.
Even though Albies is not playing second base, place this infield can cover ground. Oh, he's back on the injured list. He will miss the rest of the regular year.
Ball 3. Another full count.
3-2.
Mets are working the count on rate, which is a good sign early on for the Mets.
The door is on deck, so that's going to be the key in tonight's game. How many strikes can he throw and get outs with fastballs? Because he wants that fastball out of the zone. But if these Met hitters do not come out aggressiveness, do not come out of themselves, they're going to make Kyle Wright throw a lot of these kind of pitches. 3-2, 2-2, 3-2 all night.
Ball 4. All right. First 2 men on in the inning. Good start by the Mets. That's what the Mets do well. And 2 good at bats so far by Nimmo and Alonso.
His sinker. When I say pull it, you're really trying to force it in there. But see how it comes off his hand? It never really looked like it was going to be a strike. That ball's supposed to be bearing in on the right-handed hitter. That's the specialty of Kyle Wright.
All right. Lindor's coming up. 2 men on. Once again, the Mets have an opportunity early on to capitalize. Can they do it?
And so he's really good to his arm side, but early on he's not been able to pound that for strikes. Such a difficult year last year for Lindor. Like that, it's a different story this year. Mets shortstop record both there.
Lindor's got to get better too. He's got to not be swinging for the fences here.
Strike 1.
And he tried to.
Since July the 1st, Lindor batting a crisp, clean 300.
John, what's up, buddy?
Nimmo at second, Alonso the runner at first base. Right gets ahead 0-2.
All right, swung at 2 sliders there that could have been off the zone. Should have been 2 balls, but Lindor is in an 0-2 count rather quickly.
Does he try to expand the zone outside and reaching for something? But 2 perfectly placed pitches when traffic was on the bases at first and second and nobody out.
Well, that was a bad slider that Lindor fouled it off. 3 sliders in a row.
Defense tonight behind Wright. We talked about the infield a little bit already. Michael Harris II has been one of the most dynamic young players in the game and very well could win the National League Rookie of the Year award. He is gold glove caliber in center field. But the infield will be busy. Riley at third, Swanson and Arcia up the middle. Another gold glover over at first base in Matt Olson. Darno, the veteran former Met, does the catching. Right working with some early traffic.
All right, throw that first fastball up and away. 1-2.
Think about on a pitch, when you talk about what is a back foot breaking ball, you want to bounce it almost to where the batter's box is on a breaking ball.
And he strikes out on an outside fastball. 1 out. Not a good at bat by Lindor there.
Right to throw a 4-seamer and a 2-seamer. That was your 4-seamer up, out over the plate. Good extension. Here's a guy flat out.
All right, Jeff McNeil cleaning up today.
Jeff McNeil batting .322.
Same to you, Isaiah. Same to you.
His numbers for his career: 53 games against Atlanta, batting .330. Third highest among active players. He's been even better in this ballpark.
McNeil's probably first pitch swinging as well. And he doesn't. Okay.
Ball 1. Well, the one thing about McNeil is he's hunting for hits. And there's a different type style of hitting when you're hunting for hits. But if you throw a ball middle in, down and in, he will hit it for power. That's where his power stroke is. But that's the reason you can't shift him. He will go to all parts of the park, depending on where you throw him. But if you leave one middle in, his swing plane will get the right field home run.
Ball 2.
Way outside 2-0.
Nice to see Jeff McNeil taking a few pitches there.
Already pretty lengthy first inning here for Kyle Wright.
20 pitches in the first inning for Wright.
Single to Nimmo, then the walk to Alonso.
Yeah. All right, we're going to have bases loaded. They're going to hold up Nimmo. That's a hit for McNeil. 2 hits in the inning. Bases loaded, nobody out for Eduardo Escobar. All right. That ball was hit too hard to send Nimmo. Unfortunately, you hit it too hard. It's a good piece of hitting right there. But Nimmo had a hold up for a second, line drive. No way you're going to score on that hard hit ball. All right, bases loaded. The hottest hitter on the Mets right now, Escobar, with the bases loaded.
Sensational month of September.
All right, Eddie, let's go.
He returned his season around. Bases loaded, 1 out.
Swinging at the first pitch slider.
Batting .340 in September. Leading the league in OPS, the 8 home runs. So it's not just the contact, some power as well for Escobar. There's some time on the injured list. Dealt with an oblique. So before getting red hot, he was batting beneath 220, low on base as well. It's a brand new hitter, though.
Nice pitch. Backdoor slider. Very nice pitch.
70% of his pitches for strikes are breaking balls, so you can see he's got a feel for that. He's got to get a feel for the fastball that he hasn't been able to command. There's that backdoor kind of spinning with the slider, and the curveball has been a swing and miss pitch so far here in the first inning.
Here's 0-2. Ground ball.
That's going to get a run in. All right, we got one run on a fielder's choice. So that's a productive out. 1-0 Mets. Good job. I'll take it. On an 0-2 pitch, he stayed alive in that at bat. That's what you got to do. So second and third, 2 outs, 1-0 Mets. All right, Vogel's coming up now. Daniel Vogelback at 2-man in scoring position here. Let's see if he actually swings the bat because he likes to take walks.
Pitch against that guy anymore. He's not at the plate, but you cannot afford a big inning because the guy that you're pitching against usually doesn't give up any big innings.
He's chomping at the bit to get out there. This will be his 3rd start since coming off the injured list. Here is Vogelback. Well outside.
All right. 25 pitches for Wright in the first inning.
He's getting out in front with that left shoulder. That left shoulder is the key for any pitcher. It's different for Max, and I'll explain the difference, but he needs to keep that front shoulder in longer because his sinker will break and he'll be on command with that fastball.
Now the backdoor slider. Not an easy pitch to hit there, but it's a good pitch for a strike.
When you're throwing a fastball, 4-seam or 2-seam, you got to be more straight line. You have to have that target be more on line because if you're pulling your left shoulder towards first base, it's going to be hard to command that ball in the zone.
2 outs, 2 on. The 1-1.
Another nice slider. Oh, 1-2.
So when you see it from the hitter standpoint, see how that shoulder stays in there, and then there's
maybe, right, crew, maybe.
If that shoulder leaks towards first base, then the arm has to catch up. But when it can't catch up, it's going to be off on command.
They're already up on their feet.
Fouled it off. Try to that backdoor slider again on the outside corner, and Vogelback fouled it off. "28 pitches for Wright in the first inning.
Trying to limit the damage here in the first inning. 28 pitches. 2 on, second and third, 2 outs.
Another foul off. Staying alive in the at-bat, 29 pitches for Kyle Wright.
For the Mets score first, 78-15, 3rd highest in the majors. 0-2.
Ah,
Shot back towards the
that was a
mound.
ball.
Easy play for right.
And they're out of the inning. Mets get a run, but do not capitalize on getting more runs in the top of the first inning. Vogelback swings at an outside slider and grounds it to the pitcher for the third out. So 1 run on 2 hits, and the Braves are coming up in the bottom of the first with Max Scherzer coming on the mound. We get what we get. Once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button. Mets took an early 1-0 lead in the top of the first. Got Kyle Wright to throw 30 pitches in the first inning. That's a good thing. The bad thing, they should have scored more runs, but they did not. Lucky to get 1 run with the productive out by Escobar to make it 1-0. Again, I would have went with Vogelback tonight. I would have went back to Alvarez. You could have gave that kid a little bit of confidence, putting them in the lineup again. I don't know what to do. What are you gonna do, right? I don't make the lineup, so. But the key to that at bat against Vogelback was throwing sliders away because you don't want to go in with those sliders because of the fact that Vogie can turn on those. He's not a guy that can actually reach the outside of the plate and do some damage. So that's the issue in that case right there. And that's why he rolled over an outside pitch that he tried to pull. So with that said, going to the bottom of the first, Scherzer on the mound, 1-0 Mets. And if Max Scherzer can actually do what DeGrom couldn't do is, hey, you get it. Even if you get a slight 1-0 lead, you expect your pitcher to put up zeros in that next inning. It's a confidence booster. Like I just said before the game started, no matter who's pitching, when your team gives you a lead and you give it right back, it's demoralizing for any team. So you want your pitcher to put up zeros once you take a lead. All right, here we go. Bottom of the first, 1-0 Mets.
Riley and Olsen went back-to-back last night. Eddie Rosario was starting to take things up once again for Atlanta. He bats 8 and is in the right field. Strike 1-2 run with Acuna Jr.
All right, Max, let's go. Ground ball should be an out.
McNeil is right there.
1 out. Hit hard, but right at McNeil. You know what they didn't do in that spot, guys? They didn't put it on a shift. They didn't shift to the right. They played straight up. All right. 2 pitches, 1 out. Well, I mean, if you look at the Braves, they do have yellow in their logo, so that's why they have the yellow as like their colors too. So Swanson first pitch pop up might be out of play. Scherzer's running after that ball, but it went out of play. Scherzer wanted that out.
He's not going to take anything for granted. By the way, that's no big thing for him because he runs about 3 to 4 miles every day. He's one of the few pitchers in today's game that runs.
Nice catch by a fan.
What, 38, 39?
Snip, you're ready to keep him from going down the steps there.
All right, Max, let's go. Swanson with a solo home run yesterday off of the gum, taking him to left center.
Well, Swanson hit that home run off of DeGrom, and he has not missed many pitches middle to middle in. His power stroke is in the inner half. You can get him out of the way, and you mentioned in the beginning, these guys were struggling coming in September, but that home run was a big one last night against DeGrom.
So Scherzer, 38 years old. Maybe not 3 or 4 miles on game day, but
not on game day, but I guarantee tomorrow he'll run the stadium. He'll run outside. Unless he's got a lower leg issue, he's going to run 3 to 5 miles.
All right, ball 3. Couple of pitches off the plate.
For his game. Physically, he's not going to be tired. He might be mentally fatigued as the game goes on, but he's not going to be physically
Jacob, how you doing?
able to go 9 innings.
Nancy Swanson ahead of the count. Well, the question
All right, kept that fastball a little on the outside corner,
This is his third start back.
and he was a little late on that pitch, 3-2 count.
Over 90 pitches. He said earlier in the week he feels like he is clear for a full workload, 100 pitches plus in this one today, but obviously the oblique is the issue for Scherzer. Can it be at full strength?
Yeah, I mean, talking to Buck, he said he's pretty honest. His manager set up this pitcher, and so he lets him know how he's doing.
Ground ball right at Lindor, 2 outs. That was a hard hit ball by Swanson, but once again, not playing his shift. Playing straight up. Sometimes that works.
Has been wild for him to navigate, and it's the first injury of his career that he blames entirely on himself. During his start against the Cardinals May 18th, he experienced a tightening on his side, similar to what he had in an early May start last year at Yankee Stadium. That problem turned out to be just an inflamed rib cartilage, did not cause him to miss any time.
All right, Max. 2 outs, 8 pitches in the first.
Without telling the Mets athletic trainers what was going on, figuring he could get through the issue. Well, it turned out he caused himself real damage, snapping the oblique. The treat now is for him to.
I think it was at Scherzer's request that he has the infield playing more straight up than actually just having, shifts on almost every batter. I wonder if that's the case. Because usually the Mets are shifting almost every batter. So maybe Scherzer said he wants straight up play on the infield.
But he knows how to pitch. And, when way back when everybody thought, oh, there's no way this guy can last. Look at his mechanics. They're not prototypical. He knows his body. And now he's just dealing with something that he has to alter every once in a while.
Nice pitch. 2-2.
Up out of the zone. Well, you go back to mid-May, facing Olsen. Many of us remember this from Scherzer. This is not a good look at all. People were fearing the absolute worst here, and he pulled the plug immediately.
A 2-2 to Harris. Pull that slider down and inside, 3-2. Harris got some sneaky power. Great young player for the Braves.
Scherzer a chance for a quick first inning.
That's a shot. Oh, no. Oh, he broke his bat. Ended the inning. So that's what a starter and an ace does. When you get the lead, you put up zeros, and that's what Max Scherzer does. It looked like a good swing off on that ball, but it looked like he broke his bat, and Nimmo caught it like a can of corn. So going to the top of the second, Mets lead 1-0. So it's a different feeling when your pitcher puts up zeros right after your team gives you the lead. It's a big difference. And that's what Scherzer does. And that's why when you talk about a rotation or talk about the season pitching matchups again in this series, I didn't know what we were getting for Durham yesterday. You're going to get a bulldog performance from Max Scherzer. Even if he doesn't have it, his stuff, he'll still find a way to only give up 2 runs and keep the Mets in a ballgame. But what he's done all year basically is giving up when your team gives you a lead. He puts up zeros, and that's exactly what he did in the first inning. Yeah, I know. When he first swung at that, I'm like, uh-oh, that's right center. And then he broke his bat. So he got it just in enough to not extend Harris's hands. So if he did extend his hands, who knows? That ball would be in right center over the wall, but it wasn't. So going to the top of the second, Mets lead 1-0. 7, 8, and 9 for the Mets. So that will contain Canna. That would contain Guillorme. I'm sorry, not what the hell am I talking about? This is where I'm at. I'm not even paying attention. Nate Quinn and Nito, excuse me. Sorry about that. All right. Sorry, I'm just fixing up game day because it's starting to go wacky again. Freaking game day trying. Yeah, I forgot who the commentator is that's doing the play-by-play. But he does sound like Gary a little bit. He does. Marcus, no. I mean, you're trolling Met fans, so you must be nervous. Must be nice being in second place all year, right? All right, here we go. Top of the second. No, man, how you doing?
By Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home car insurance. First pleasant night here in Atlanta, 70 degrees. Kyle Wright was a taxing first inning, 30 pitches. Was able to strand a pair in scoring position.
Let's see if you get the bottom of the order up.
Canada lead off here in the
Well,
second.
Marcus, you've been saying that all year. So until it happens, I don't know what to tell you.
Canada, one of the off-season free agent additions for the Mets. Long ago, a Rule 5 draft pick, forged a great career for himself in Oakland. And now playing for the Mets and having a strong first year. It's been hit a lot, but hit a lot of pitches this year. Of course, that's been a theme for the Mets this season, and Canada's been leading the charge.
Round ball should be an easy out.
Easy
One
play
out.
for Swanson for round number 1.
Guarantee you in between innings there had to be a conversation of let's get that fastball going. And you've been on the attack the first hitter, 3 strikes in a row. You mentioned those 28 pitches. Or 28 plus pitches in the first inning. That'll shock your system.
Captain, how you doing? No problem, buddy. Anytime.
Get back in rhythm, and they have that conversation. I'm sure they're one of the best pitching coaches in the game and dealing with 2 great pitching staffs on this field, Mets and the Braves.
Those 30 pitches for Wright in the first inning tied.
Well, Gullick's trying to score a run against Scherzer.
Single inning this year. He's facing Tyler Naquin here.
So 1 out, Nate Quinn up, 1-0 Mets in the top of the second.
Naquin in the lineup for one reason in particular. He homered twice off of Wright in an earlier matchup this year.
3 for 6 against Wright, 2 home runs for Nate Quinn. That's why he's in the lineup tonight.
Checks his swing. He does not go. Early August for Naquin. Back at Citi Field. Not once, but twice. Guess he had a pretty good idea he'd be in the lineup today.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers for the Mets against Kyle Wright have all been pretty good. This is a different pitcher that they're facing today than they have in the past. He's come into his own, of course, the rocky first 3-4 years for him. Last year's playoff start really kicked it in for him.
Nice pitch by Wright, high and outside. Always looks good to a hitter.
He came in with the bases loaded, and this year he's put it all together. He's got 20 games under his belt that he's won, and he's rewarded Snicker for all that work he put in the offseason.
Oh, nasty slider. 2 outs.
And see, this is the point I was making. If you could throw enough strikes early, then you could be nasty out of the zone. You don't have to throw a lot of strikes when you get ahead of the hitters. And there's just a pitch that sweeps across the plate. Excuse me, little uh-oh.
All right, Tomas Nido coming up with 2 outs. Hit a home run to right center yesterday.
2 up and 2 down. A much crisper start to this inning for Kyle Wright compared to the first inning. Nido's really started to come alive for the Mets. Their 9-hitting catcher takes up and in for ball 1.
Albino, how you doing?
Wright gets ahead 1-2.
Much more on attack here. And, of course, not going through the heart of the lineup.
Facing the bottom third of the order here in the second inning.
Jake, that'd be nice.
Wright's 1-2 pitch.
Exactly, you got her.
Wright has been so dominant. The Braves, of course, such a good team to begin with. They have won 14 of his last 15 starts. only twice in that span has he allowed more than 2 runs.
And Nito hits one to center.
Comes in.
Nice play by Harris to make the catch. I don't think he had a dive in that situation, but I think he tripped, actually. So that was a nice recovery by Harris to end the inning. Another hard hit ball by Nito. That was not an easy catch. He tripped, but that was a nice catch by Harris to end the inning. Going to the bottom of the second, 1-0 Mets. Rusty, I don't know if you're on the West Coast or the East Coast. It seems like the East Coast is getting Mets Braves. West Coast is getting Astros Rays. So it's on 5 if they're showing that game. So that was a hard hit ball by Nito. Nito once again having good at bats like always. He just seems like he just has good at bats. Even when he strikes out, he'll work the counts. But Harris looked back. He clearly left a divot in the center field. Clearly he lost his foot in there. So that was a nice recovery because that could have been a disaster for him. But he's a great defensive player. So he made all right, East Coast Rusty, then he should be on Channel 5 for you. All right, so once again, guys, you're watching Mets and Braves right here on Talking Mets with Rob. Don't forget to hit on that like button. And let's see for game 2 if it turns out to be a better a different result than yesterday. Lion, I wouldn't say that. Well, we all know James McCann is catching tomorrow because of Bassett. Again, I'm not going to kill it. The only reason why I'm not going to kill it because Bassett throws better to James McCann than Nito. He has a full run better ERA with McCann behind the plate than Nito. So, hey, John, how you doing? Anytime, buddy. So just waiting for the game to come back. And we get the audio back on for the game audio. All right, here we go. Second inning, 1-0 Mets. Riley leading off.
First pitch strike to Austin Riley to begin things here, the home second inning. Riley, the Braves cleanup hitting third baseman.
Quick 2 strikes to Riley.
This year off the back Scherzer. He has 38 home runs in a monster year. Paid off with a long-term extension. Way outside.
Well, Scherzer just creates an illusion to. It doesn't matter right-hander or left-hander, but you can imagine how tough he is on right-handers when he comes across with all his arms and legs and sweeps that slider, which he was trying to do there, but he just spiked it. He can elevate the fastball. He can hit all quadrants.
Ground ball should be a base hit, and it is through the hole for Riley. Got him jammed, but strong enough to get it through the hole. Second inning hit for the Braves. First of the game.
Harris, you can see a second adjustment there. A ball that looked like it was knuckling on him. And did it knuckle? Call McHugh and company, the bullpen. Would tend to say yes. He has been so much more than anybody could have expected.
All right, Matt Olson up at the plate. 1 on, nobody out for Matt Olson.
First pitch strike to Olson.
I mean, it's hard to say that they're better than last year, but they are better than last year. Last year, they got a bunch of players to fill in, got hot at the right time. They went through this incredible run, won the World Series. This year, they have depth. They had their injuries. Mets have had their injuries, but they've had the
yeah, Anthony, exactly.
Complement each other and fill in at the right time.
Nothing at 2 on Olson.
You see the average 238. It's went through a tough spell leading into this month, and He hit that home run last night, making some mechanical adjustments with his hands. Sometimes as a hitter, you get disconnected. You can see where his hands
Well,
are.
Brandon, record-wise, they definitely are, so it's hard to say that.
Utilize his stance and where he puts his hands and the timing. He head the other way for a lot of power.
Time chopping. Scherzer lets it go past him. McNeil, a little option.
All right, got the force play, too slow to turn double play. Good play by McNeil to get the force at second, 1 out.
The lead runner, Riley, they swap runners at first base.
Float's a good commentator for sure.
You could win. Big Poppy's money tonight playing Fox Bet Super 6. Super 6 has given away over 3.
Oh, Brandon, that's not really true. I mean, the NL East was weaker last year. I mean, you got a Phillies team that could make the playoffs and the Mets making the playoffs. So 2 teams in the NL East that are better this year than last year. Yeah, that was a smart play by Jeff. Riley had to hold up because the ball almost hit him. All right, Darno was up. 1 out, 1 on. Nasty slider by Scherzer.
I could be wrong, but see how he slows up right there? And just slowing up right there, trying to get in the way of McNeil, might have cost him an opportunity. I think McNeil would have had to make a decision on going to first had Riley taken off full bore to get to second. I mean, not fleet of foot, but he's not super slow either.
As it is, 1 out and 1 on. Olsen at first base. Travis Darno at the plate.
Oof, blew it by him. 0-2.
See, Max's 95 is like 100 for DeGrom. I mean, the way that he throws, DeGrom is a little bit different pitcher, of course, a freak in the way that he throws a baseball, but it almost looks like Max throws uphill at times. Like he gets underneath the ball, even though his fingers are on top of the ball when he delivers it.
Tried for the slider to get him fishing, but didn't get him fishing.
1 and 2 to Darno.
2-2.
He's one of the all-time great strikeout leaders in baseball.
Sorry, 1-2, excuse me.
He passed you on the all-time list for this year, John.
Oh, yes.
Fastball outside, Darno stays alive.
What was one more gracious than the other? Was this acknowledged in your presence in any way? A text, an email, call, FaceTime?
No.
So is it better just to be left unsaid? Like, you know.
I think so. Sleep it.
But would you take the call that day?
Oh, yeah. No, I congratulated Verlander because I got his number. Probably should have congratulated Max. Now you let me know I'm going to have to reach out.
I think. Didn't mean to expose you like that. 2 strikes to Darno. He's having a great year, an all-star this year for the first time. You've got 3,084 punch-outs all-time, 19 in baseball history. Scherzer's got a chance to get to 12th on the all-time leaderboard tonight.
Oh, that wasn't a good pitch. Ball gets away, and Olsen goes to second. Double play is out.
Well, this is the best Mets team that I have seen since, in my opinion, since I've been retired. And adding back Scherzer, and of course that man, Buck Showalter, has put it.
Nothing Nito can do on that pitch there.
Of course, they're going to probably win 100 games, and who knows what the future holds for the postseason. But if that pitching staff stays healthy, they're going to be a tough out in the postseason.
First runner in scoring position early on tonight for Atlanta.
Darno's putting up a nice at-bat here against Scherzer.
This is so huge, and we got the blessing of being right here to see this game.
Oh, no, I just think that Scherzer just pulled that slider, and it bounced before the plate, and that's always the hardest ball to block for a catcher. Well, he only had a chance to backhand it. He just couldn't get to it.
So you don't have to face that first team 2 out of 3.
Oh, what a curveball. Strike 3. That was a nasty pitch. That tied up Darno there. Started looking like it was going to hit him and broke right on the inside corner. Yeah, that's if you're not looking for that pitch, you're not hitting it.
But he knew once that pitch got across home plate, he was
That was, if a hitter's looking for that pitch, he can crush it. Well, Andrew, hope you do, but he's still a good enough hitter for sure. That's why he's still on the roster for the Braves, even after his DUI a couple of times and his domestic abuse issue.
That's the signature pitch. That's the pitch that on camera looks like.
Well, d'Arnaud wasn't the player he is now for the Mets. He got a lot better. He just matured basically.
Is this the release point that looks like it's coming out of your shoulder?
No, it actually looks like he's throwing, like I said, the best way to describe it looks like he's throwing uphill and across his body. Like he throws across his body anyways, but when he elevates a fastball, it literally looks like it's an upshoot fastball. And they don't see the spin of it because he's so far down the mound, and then the slider makes everything. Like when he can throw a fastball,
it wasn't d'Arnaud with the hitting. The problem with him with the Mets is that he was not as good as a catcher as he is right now. No, he's not great. But he got better throwing runners out. He's got better at framing pitches, and that's a kudos to the Braves organization who help young players. Check swing, foul ball, 2-2. And that was the other thing. Yeah, he had Tommy John with the Mets as well. So
see the low three quarters, and then the hand comes up, so you don't really see it. It's not your prototypical top of the hand, over the shoulder, 3/4 delivery. It's really funky, and he has a lot of spin that he creates with the way that he throws it.
It's 2-2.
And he pops him up.
Skies this to shallow right field, but Neal drifts out.
Woo!
Makes the catch.
That was scary, but Nick Quinn made the catch. And 2 solid innings for Max Scherzer. Mets still lead 1-0. Mets got the top of the order back up at the top of the third. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, Marcus, if Scherzer has to pitch 115 pitches, he's doing it tonight. Just so you know that. He has 34 pitches in 2 innings. That's a good enough pitch count to go 8 for sure. But, again, there's always a twilight in Atlanta with that sky there, so it's not the easiest thing. But again, that was in the middle of nowhere. That's why the shift is such a huge problem, is because outfielders don't know when to call a ball off anymore because the infielders are like right up there, you know what. So once again, guys, thank you for tuning in and talking Mets at Rob. Game 2 of Mets versus Braves in Atlanta at Truist Park. Mets lead 1-0 going to the top of the third. Kyle Wright had a very nice inning in the top of the second. Struggled throwing 30 pitches in the first inning, but came back in the second inning, looked pretty good. He struggled with the top of the order for the Mets. The bottom of the order, he took care of business, which I kind of expect, to be honest with you. So with that said, 1-0. And we'll see if the Mets top of the lineup can do what they did in the first inning. The only thing they didn't do was capitalize on more runs. So we will see. So once again, if you want to watch the game on TV, it's on Fox. If you're on the East Coast, West Coast, you're getting Rays and Astros. So if you're on the West Coast, stick around, hang out, listen to the game, get your opinions, and that's how we do. Well, Brandon, that's one thing that me and Ken have been talking about all year. Their defense has been a big reason why they've won 98 games this year. So that's a big reason as well. You know, the Mets offensively this month has struggled a lot. So that's the issue with them right now. Well, yeah, even they're guaranteed a playoff spot. They'll be a number 1 wildcard team. The same as the Braves if they lose the division. Anytime, Jimmy. All right? Top of the third, top of the order for the Mets.
So far. First pitch strike for Brandon Nimmo, who single big ball game and has scored the game's long run.
Well, Andrew, wait, Fox blocked you out. Why would Fox block you out? It's the only place you can watch the game. I don't understand that.
Kyle Wright ahead 0-2. You look at Kyle Wright and this breakout season that he has had. Now, he started to make a name for himself last October, the postseason, but look at the time in his career before that in the major leagues. Former first-round draft pick, 5th overall, in fact. Debuted as a 22-year-old back in 2018. You know, John Bust is a strong term, but when you look at a guy who was taken 5th overall out of a baseball powerhouse at Vanderbilt, and his first 4 years of regular season big league baseball was bad.
Nimmo hits one. It might go out. Harris definitely had that. Just missed the home run by a little bit. I don't think Nimmo thought he had it at all. The way he hit that ball, but that was a nice catch by Harris there. Did not panic, knows his field, and makes a nice catch. I can't believe that ball went that far. I thought that was like a routine pop-up. I didn't think he hit it that far at all. I don't know if the wind's blowing to left field, but that was something. Wow.
Drafted, you're a first-round pick, and then you injected the lineup, and if you get it, great. If you don't, you bounce around.
All right, one out, top of the third.
Confidence was gone. He went down to the minors. He went into the pen. He went back.
I still can't believe that ball went that far.
Development got delayed.
Ground ball should be 2 outs. Riley taking care of business, and does. First pitch swinging Alonso, 2 outs.
And the information overruns the
Well, Ken, just like talking about the Mets defense, the Braves defense is just as good.
Last year, and that was the moment that Kyle Wright checked in as a big leaguer and went to camp and felt like he was his job to stay in the rotation. When you're given the opportunity to make 30-plus starts in the big leagues, you learn on the job. And this instant style kind of...
All right, 2 outs. Lindor up with nobody on.
2 outs for Lindor. For more on Wright, Kenny.
Well, John, you remember Game 2. He struck out the side. It was kind of a scripted appearance. They wanted him ready for later in the series. And then he did what he did in Game 4. Now, after his appearance in Game 2, his former Vanderbilt teammate Dansby Swanson retrieved the ball and offered it to Wright as a keepsake. He said, no, I don't want it. I'm going to do this again. And in Game 4, he did.
And sure he did. And it's a big reason why the Braves are where they're at this season, because of their rotation. They've had some injuries to it. Kyle Wright's been pretty consistent, obviously, to win 20 games this year. But the point I want to make that I think is so overblown, we have so much information.
K-Zone said it was a ball, but again, giving it for both teams, so can't be shocked what the umpire's doing right now. 2-1.
I'm a 2-seam guy. Yeah, but the numbers say you should throw a 4-seam. Well, if you can't do that, you start losing your identity. And the one
nice outside slider, 2-2.
That 2-seam fastball and curveball, and he went away from it, got back to it. And now he's been able to live out what he had hoped to always do in this season. They move Riley.
I mean, a big shift to the right side. There's opportunity with 2 strikes for Lindor to look the other way here. There you go. There you go. That's what you got to do right there with 2 strikes. Good job, Lindor. 2-out hit for Lindor. That was the at-bat we needed Lindor for last inning. He gets away for that with runners on. All right, Jeff McNeil got a hit in the first inning. See if he can keep the line moving with 2 outs.
I'm telling you, 4 years ago, I was banging the drum of this kid, and I still believed in him, and I knew that he would get to this point. He had 4 quality pitches, above average changeup, really good curveball, and a slider, and that 2-seam fastball that kind of went in his back pockets come back out. And this year's kind of proof.
McNeil singled earlier.
McNeil swinging that first pitch.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the information's bad, but when it all is driving what you do and how you do it, you start thinking, well, maybe I'm not that good. Maybe I thought I was good at this, and the computer's saying I'm good at that. And you start chasing some of the results and the information that comes your way, and you forget about the feel of pitching, the adjustment you have to make, and your mechanics.
1 strike to Jeff McNeil.
John Smoltz is just a great color analyst, man. Just excellent.
So McNeil's got a chance at a batting title this year. He's trying to chase down Freddie Freeman. Freeman batted .327 entry today. McNeil, a base hit earlier. This is a .323.
Neil swings at a slider on the outside corner. 2-2. 1-2, excuse me.
Last season was a struggle, barely hit .250. This year, back to normal for him.
Yeah, it was an aberration. You could throw that one away because he's just a pure hitter. He's got great hands.
Thank you, Jake. You giving me that plug.
Feel for the strike zone and where to kind of you see that bat. Nobody has a bat like that. Well, it's unique to him because he can throw the barrel to wherever the pitch is.
Good eye by McNeil. 2-2.
Yeah, McNeil, a really good golfer. You can speak to that.
Great.
This bat resembles, well, handle of a golf club. Got to get that wet shot going a little bit.
He can hit the ball down just like you would hit and attack a golf ball, right? And think that stroke he has, and look, it's just mechanically sound. That's why the big funks, and he won't go into many slumps.
Round ball. Nice play by Olsen to make the out to end the inning. Going to the bottom of the third, 1-0 Mets. So McNeil hit the ball hard, but right at Olsen. You know, he holding a running run, and the ball came right to him. So, once again, guys, Mets didn't score. Braves are coming up in the bottom of the third, still 1-0 Mets. If you're a new subscriber to the channel, say what's up. Let me know where you're from, and we will give you a shout-out on this channel because that's what we do here. Joe, you made it. I'm assuming you're still in the bar. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking at the comments really quick. Blaze King, what's up? I like your photo. I like your little profile picture there. Well, we all hope Marte comes back soon. Again, it was wishful thinking that he would come back for this Braves series, but when he tried it out again, still had a little bit of swelling and pain. So, no point risking major injury and losing for the playoffs. Yes, you would like to have him in this Atlanta series, but again, you don't want him to swing at a ball and do more damage to that finger, and then we're in trouble. Joe, as long as you're having fun, that's the most important thing. Basically, I don't know. Are you a new subscriber? I haven't seen you commented before. I could be wrong, but if you're a new subscriber, let me know where you're from, buddy. Yeah, Mary, exactly. Of course, we're missing Marte for sure. Obviously, it's a hole in the front part of the lineup, but. So yes, Mary, Marte, it sucks, but again, no excuses for this Mets team. You got enough guys in this lineup that can do some damage. It is what it is. Yeah, Brendan, they only got to win one of these games in Atlanta to have the tiebreaker. That's why it's crucial for the Mets, at the very least, to win one game, because they have the division in their hands still. And that's what they have to do. They're showing the Harris catch at the wall. Again, I didn't believe Nimmo hit it that far, and he did get it. He's smooth Harris in center field, so not shocked that he made that catch, to be honest with you. All right, so bottom of the third. Scherzer on the mound. Arcia leading off for the Braves, I believe. No, Rosario, excuse me.
He's upgraded the entire outfield because, Acuna coming off that injury playing right field. Whenever Acuna's playing right field, you got a center fielder doing what he's doing there. You're in pretty good shape for 2/3 of the outfield.
Exactly, Blaze. 100%. Nice slider. Curveball, excuse me.
Not too many pitches that Rosario doesn't like when he sees them. He loves to swing.
0-2 to Rosario.
Last year,
36 pitches for Scherzer in the third.
So huge for the Atlanta Braves. It's starting to heat up again.
And .383 the postseason. OPS over 1,000. In fact, if you look at the LCS only, he hit .560 with 3 homers. He drove in 9 and in 6 games.
There's a beach ball. Let me up on a baseball. He saw it and he hit it.
Another ball in the dirt, 2-2.
Exactly what you should be doing if you're Max. You get ahead 0-2 and you don't have to throw another strike. You really still don't have to throw another strike if you make it close enough, because Eddie likes to swing the bat and he'll find it. He'll one-hop it.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
A swing and a miss on a bad slider, 1 out.
Try to one-hop it.
Second strikeout tonight for Scherzer.
Well, I appreciate the thanks.
Michael Harris is second. If you missed his efforts defensively already, this slider knocking out to end the inning. Able to make the catch, and then Nimmo gives us a ride. Nimmo. Nimmo's one of the great catches of the year by an outfielder this season.
Well, Blaze, to get into the stream, you have to subscribe. So, yes, everybody is there. Whoever's here did subscribe already. All right, RC is up. 1 out. Yes, Lane, I am doing a game tomorrow as well. I'll be at Citi Field 2 out of the last 3 games at Citi Field, so probably only be 1 stream. Travis, I'm watching it on Fox.
Such an unbelievable, literally bad.
Popped it up, missed the hanger. That wasn't a good pitch by Scherzer, but Arcia missed it, 2 outs. I don't know, Joe. Out of nowhere.
A few weeks ago, right into Gene Segura of the Phillies. Washington comes out. Was not good.
Edgardo, hopefully home in Australia.
He's had some time at second base. He's cool.
So 2 outs. Acuna up.
He should be aggressive on this first pitch. Let's see if Max throws him something other than a fastball. Yeah, he went after him with a fastball right down the middle. It's almost like sometimes you see hitters and he's been struggling just a little bit. Acuna's been missing some time. He's got some nagging injuries, of course, coming back from that knee injury last year. But boy, if he gets going.
All right, Blaze, have a good day.
Top of that lineup for the Braves.
Slider, gonna be a tough play. Nice hustle by Acuna to get the infield hit. His knee looked healthy there, that's for sure.
What it looks like on a routine ball hit to a player, you won't see him run out of the box. He's trying to conserve that knee. But on this one, you'll see him get after it. And he'll get that hit. He still gets the strong bases. So they're basically asking him to choose when he gets after it because they want to preserve him with that knee recovery for the remainder of this season and obviously in the postseason.
Ella, not a weak hit. I call it good hustle.
Series against the Phillies because of mid-back tightness.
Yeah, Travis, if you're on the West Coast, you're getting the Rays Astros.
We've seen the Braves over this year. And
Sorry.
Can't hardly walk after some games.
Yeah, I mean, he came back really fast, and the plan was at the beginning of the year to DH him for most of that first half and then put him in the outfield, but he was showing such signs of wanting to get out there. Some people may have felt, he got back too soon in the defensive position and maybe reaping some of that, the naggingness of that knee that's not completely healed.
Oof. Swanson swing out of his shoes there for that slider.
For more on that recovery, we go down to Ken.
Well, Braves third base coach Ron Washington, when he was a player, had the same injury as Acuna, but he was a little older.
Wow, they're showing Rays Astros in Florida? Interesting.
Occasionally feeling uncomfortable. It's not familiar for a young player. He said it's been a mental drain on Acuna. In his mind, he should be able to do everything. When you're older, you know what you can do, and don't worry about the things you can't.
That makes sense.
Round ball. Oh! 8 up Lindor. That was a bad play by Lindor. Oh, I wouldn't say necessarily was hit hard, but you should have that. First to third, 2 outs. You don't see a lot of that from Lindor.
You're going to see a gear from Acuna right here. It looks like it might be an out. That's what I'm talking about. He still has the explosive Swanson takes a bad hop right there.
Oh, look at that hop. Did it hit the lip of the grass? Nah, Lindor should have had that. That's a bad play by Lindor right there.
I'm doing my scorecard at that. I got to make sure.
All right, first and third, 2 outs.
That's been true for years.
Harris up at the plate.
I still don't see how that's a fielder's choice, E6. I guess E6 would be position, wouldn't it? Harris takes this.
Nice play by Nimmo in the gap to end the inning. Good job. All right, some defensive plays here in Atlanta. Little play from Scherzer pumped up Nimmo. They've been playing Nimmo. The analytics have helped Nimmo put him in a certain spot, and Nimmo plays deep anyway, so that helped him out on that play right there. So, a couple of hard hit balls for both teams that got caught. Could have done some damage on both ends, but did not. Going to the top of the foot, still 1-0 Mets. So that was a hard hit ball by Harris right there, left center field. But again, Nimmo plays extremely deep, and he can run down those balls when he play deep like that. So, and the good thing about that pitch to Harris was Scherzer kind of jammed him a little bit. So he didn't get a full extension. I think if he had that full extension, that ball would have been a little bit more in the gap and might have been a tougher play for Nimmo, but it wasn't. Nimmo got a great jump on it. And I got to say, one thing I got to say about Nimmo is that his first step on line drives have been excellent this year for sure. So that's a good start for him right there. Again, Scherzer's not striking out everybody in every single batter, but he is being efficient with his pitches, throwing a lot more strikes. What he's doing, he's making them swing. That's for sure. Well, what does he have right now? He has 47 pitches in, 3 innings. That's not terrible. One quick inning, you're back right on regular pace for the inning. And again, Scherzer can throw 110 pitches. That's not the issue. He's not going to just throw 100 pitches. If he needs to throw 110, he will. So, again, what you can't have is give up 3 runs in only 6 innings and you're Jacob deGrom. You put your team behind the 8 ball when your team gives you a lead. See what Scherzer did? He's kept the lead. Grant, what's up, buddy? Oh, Grant, I'm assuming you're going to have a beer after that nearly 12-hour workday. All right. Escobar up. 1-0 Mets top 4.
I think he had 30 pitches through 15 curveballs and 1 flyer. So, you take whatever you get off a quality pitcher like that. It's been a strength of theirs and ours. And, he could be, if you get a chance, you need to try to get one across. Esky had a good at-bat to give in with 2 strikes and get it done.
Escobar pops it up right to Harris.
Harris makes his catch easily. Escobar is down number 1. Yeah, you saw the graphic. A lot of wins for Buck Showalter without getting a ring. Is this the year? That elusive World Series ring.
If he's pitching well, Brandon, he would. Now go out for the 9th inning if he has 100 pitches? Probably not. If you're in a save situation, you're probably bringing in Diaz. But I trust Scherzer at 100 pitches more than I do Lugo or Ottavino.
Injuries. Every year their pitching staff can stay healthy. Same thing this year, but they have more weapons to use.
All right, Vogelback is up for 1 out.
To this best record part of the season. Jacob deGrom missed 4 months, and they were still able to have the best record for the longest time. They hit their little swoon when the Braves won 14 in a row, and
that's what you got to do, Grant.
Clubs were built to get to the World Series. Now, obviously, one of these clubs is going to have to get through the LA Dodgers, because they look like the prohibitive favorites. What they've done with their injuries.
And Vogelback hits the ball the other way. Hallelujah! It's about time. Now we should steal a base. It's about time he took that ball the other way. They don't play him. They play a full shift on him.
High
He can get a base hit every single time.
Throw it up there. But because he threw it up there, he didn't have the opportunity to hit it over there.
All right, let's go.
That ball's down.
1 out, 1 on.
Hit it over there.
All right. Marcana's up. 1 out.
1 out, 1 out for Marcana.
Where would you line him up on the football field? I mean, nose guard or
You know, Vogelback's a big Florida Gator fan.
okay.
A Florida guy. I mean, plenty of Saturdays spent at the swamp, I would say, for Vogelback.
Got to be nose guard right over the center.
Go fullback.
I don't know. Blocking back.
There aren't many fullbacks anymore. Canna fouls his
Kind
way.
of missed a hanging slider there, 0-2.
Plenty new faces and fleshing
No, we're not
this
pinch
year.
running in the 4th inning for
Canna, we
Vogie.
were talking about him earlier. Martain, man, they're really still feeling his absence. And there's not a great timetable on his injured finger. Bassett will go tomorrow. We've talked about Escobar. How great of a month he's had entering October. McKenna, about a steady Eddie of a veteran outfielder as you can find. Great on base abilities. And part of that's because he's won the bullseye this year, not just this year for his career.
And Canna strikes out.
Wow, that was
2 outs.
nasty. That was nasty to a hitter that rarely swings like that. You talk about his ability to command the strike zone and put the ball in play. That ball had such late sink. It started in the middle of the strike zone. Look at this. And it disappears to a hitter, a pretty good hitter who knows where the barrel of the bat's going.
Canna's face right after that swing and a miss probably said all you need to know.
All right, 2 outs. Tyler Naquin coming up.
Third strike.
65 pitches for Wright in the 4th.
Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Mattress Farm, where you can say goodnight to junk sleep. And by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. What a scene it has been really all season long. Here at Truist Park, the Battery just outside. Last night, their 40th sellout of the season. And tonight looking like their 41st.
Yeah, this place has been rewarded. Slow start to the season. You know, a lot of people are talking about I don't believe in that hangover stuff after postseason stuff.
All right, 0-2 pitch to Naquin.
Where hot got hot. And now throws themselves in the potential to win another division. Was it like 2 days in first place, maybe? Something like that.
Well, the Mets have held first place for all but 2 days this year. And now share at the top spot in the East.
Fouled off by Naquin, staying alive.
I think the Phillies held it for one
Ken,
day.
don't forget.
Something for one day or two.
Better slugging percentage than Trout.
And you know one thing about Buck's team that we asked him about, they just
No
I
Alvarez
really
today.
believe, you know, a lot of managers say this, and you're like, I don't know if I believe that. He said, we just don't get too high and we don't get too low. We really do not get carried away with whatever's going on. It's a very low-key, check your egos type play team that he's assembled, and he loves it.
Naquin smokes one. Get out.
Carrying back out of the warning track.
Oh, just missed it. Wow. That one looked a lot harder than the Nimmo one, but stays in the yard and Acuna gets the out to Indian in bottom of the 4th. 1-0 Mets. Ah, damn, you look like you hit that harder than Nimmo. Yeah, it might have been the cameraman for sure. But jammed him just enough to keep the ball in the ballpark. So going to the bottom of the 4th, 1-0 Mets, guys. Once again, you're new to the channel, say what's up. Let me know where you're from, and we will give you a shout out. So, well, it's seemingly similar to yesterday with a low-scoring game early. and going to almost the middle part of the game. And still 1-0 Mets. Lane, it will be Carrasco, Walker, and possibly DeGrom in the last game of the season, depending on if they need the game or not. Yeah, Grant, 70 pitches for Wright right now. Again, Freed came out of the game in the 5th inning yesterday, and the Mets had a hard time hitting their bullpen. So, I don't know. It's like I guess like a catch-22. Basically, if you leave Wright in, Mets have better at-bats against Wright. You might have better at-bats against the bullpen. So, yeah, the way it looked like he turned on it just enough, but just missed it. Just got jammed in a little bit. But yeah, the Naquin looked like it was gone off the bat. The Nimmo one looked like a pop-up to left center. So interesting again, the wind could be blowing a little towards left field. That's why the Nimmo ball went further than the Naquin ball. Shimmy, thoughts on the deal? Well, I'm not shocked. But still, look for a trade for Epler and the Mets with that. All right, really leading off, 1-0 Mets.
Leadoff, and Riley leads it off. It's on his way to the first pitch for strike.
End the lockout, Joe. End the lockout.
Home runs this year for the young third baseman.
Nice pitch. 0-2.
He's having just a monster year. MVP consideration, to say the least.
Well, he closed some windows that pitchers could go to. What I mean by that is every hitter that is young and adjusting to while they're being pitched, he still can get out with a slider away, but he doesn't swing at every one of them he sees come out of the pitcher's hand now. Can't miss in on him. That's where his power is. Can't miss out over the plate. So, Max is going to try and throw a slider off of the plate, I would think, to get him out.
There you go. Well, it's the combination of hitting for average and also with a lot of damage. Yeah. You consider that league average batting average right now is in the low
2-2 to Riley.
Riley entered tonight 275, and he's knocking on the door of 40 homers. His chance.
I feel like I say this every time, but in spring training, he worked extensively with Chipper Jones. Chipper's one of the best hitters of all time for the Atlanta Braves and in baseball. And the approach was to get his hands in a position to where he didn't just keep swinging that pitch out over the plate, that slider that he would chase. And he did a great job.
Ooh, just missed that curveball in the inside corner that he got Darnell out the other inning. Full count.
Olsen on deck. Riley and Olsen went back-to-back last night off of DeGrom.
It's rare that we get to this point in the season where both clubs could kind of line up their starting pitching to get to this point. They made some adjustments. They wanted DeGrom going Friday, Scherzer on Saturday. Same thing with the Braves lining up, Max Fried and now Kyle Wright. So both teams.
Honestly, everybody, I don't trust Ohtani in New York. That's just my opinion.
The laying up for those last 3 games of the year.
Another hit by Riley. Could be a double. Should be a double, and it is. Leadoff double for Riley.
This is exactly what we were talking about. A guy that is locked in now as a major league hitter. He doesn't miss the pitches.
Another good at-bat by Riley, down 0-2. Both at-bats, he was down 0-2, and he gets 2 hits.
Watch where it was supposed to be and watch where it was. Right there. He stays on the ball. He wasn't so pull conscious that he pulls it foul, but he stays on the ball and gets rewarded with a double.
Marking his 50th multi-hit game of the season that ties Jeff McNeil the Mets for 6
Alien, nope.
baseball.
Look at his numbers in New York. Foul ball. Just foul. Something with that right field, man. The balls are not staying. I don't know. Little weird going down the right field line.
Just showed you a graphic that Riley leading the league in extra base hits. How about Matt Olson not far behind? Riley 38 home runs, Olson 31.
That's going to have a hard time keeping Riley close with this shift while Olson's at the plate.
Nice slider to go 0-2.
He can almost get as big a lead as he wants.
Well, I talked about these shifts with runners on. I never like shifts with the runners on. You give the runner ample opportunity to get a very big secondary lead to easily score on a single.
The door trying to hear the pitch come. Oh, 2.
Classic Scherzer, speed him up, slow him down, speed him up. First pitch, fastball, pulls down the line, throws the changeup, and then tries to get him to chase up with the fastball.
Ground ball through the shift. There you go. What did I tell you guys? The shift, that's a ground ball to the shortstop. There you go. Exactly what I was talking about. Tie game. Why they shift, I don't get it. I talked about it just before the at-bat. I just don't get the shift for runners on. Never understood it. It's a good pitch, but it's a good piece of hitting as well. That's the issue right there, the shift. I hate the shift, guys. I really do hate the shift. Yeah, Steven, but that doesn't help this year. Well, Ken, they shouldn't be put on that huge shift with a runner on. It makes no sense. Oh, Marcus, you show up after the Braves score. Typical front runner.
Throw it to 96, 97 if he needs to, but he's conserving right now and trying to battle this inning and keep it to 1 run. There it is. I mean, anytime a hitter takes
No, because you're a front runner. You showed up after the Braves score. Where were you when the Braves were losing? You came in the first inning and then you didn't show up until now. Front runner. I'm not salty, but there's other Braves fans that's been here since the beginning and stayed the entire time, except for you. You get called out for that on this channel. You know, Marcus, what you might not know, I call out Met fans as well. Right? There's Brave fans that's been in this chat the whole game. Just don't show up when you only score. Because that's called a front runner. You're borderline bandwagon. Ground ball should be a double play. Double play. Big double play by Scherzer there. Nice play.
Scherzer is never going to convey he doesn't have his best stuff. You're never going to see that. But with that one pitch, he cleared 2 and can reset his internal clock.
High fives for Olson, who has tied the game with that RBI single.
All right, 2 outs. Tie game. Ozuna up. This might be the only player that Mets and Braves fans hate. Well, Marcus, front runner, enjoy.
Nobody keeps the barrel of the bat. The bat
But you'll be nowhere to be found if the Mets take the lead. Again, I don't appreciate your type of fans.
It's amazing. He's got that bat vertical.
I mean, I bet you weren't a Brave fan until 2021, right?
The strike zone, it looks like his bat's longer than everybody else's. That's because it's when he's hot and locked.
Actually,
in,
Marcus,
he stays in the zone longer.
I think you should hold on because you're done.
Line underneath.
Oh, just ground ball. Should be a double for Ozuna.
This ball dives in front of the fans. Canna gets to it. And with 2 outs,
We shall see, Carlos.
Watch how flat this swing is. This is exactly what I was talking about. The pitch is in the middle of the zone. But watch how flat. See how the barrel of the bat
Scherzer having a little trouble with that slider this inning for sure.
It's a unique style of hitting that has made him so good when he is hot. When the timing's off, obviously, it shows in the average. But that ball was scalded.
Escobar has been one of the better defensive third basemen in the league. That ball was crushed.
Now this is a totally different approach, where the barrel of the bat is all over the place. Let's try to find the ball for wherever it's at.
Well, Jakey, that's why I blocked Marcus, because I don't like front runners, Mets or Braves fans.
chance for Eddie.
You don't just show up when you take the lead. You're a front runner, and he admitted it. So, again, he must have been a fan since 2021.
I mentioned his postseason numbers from last year.
All right, Max, come on.
LCS, fond memories for this fan base. What he did last October. First pitch curve.
I don't think he's throwing a strike yet. I mean, he's swung it pretty much.
Well, you see the difference in Scherzer's inning this time.
Struck him out earlier his last at bat.
He had a couple more sliders over the plate that they hit. That's the big thing right now.
Chase again.
Let's get out of this inning, tie in. Get back at it.
Strike in the bottom part of the zone.
Well, Carlos, the only thing that I just don't like is the bandwagon fans, the front runners, who only show up when their team scores. But when they're losing, they don't come on the stream. Or they might be on the stream, but they hide. I don't like that at all. And you do get blocked on this channel for that.
It wouldn't surprise me if Diaz.
You know, like Andrew, like Carlos, you, a couple of guys, JL, Bravos. They're here. They take it when they're losing. Just take the if you're losing. That's all I ask. You know, Met fans do the same thing. I call them out and I block them on my channel too. Don't be a front runner and show up when your team's winning and not when you're losing. All right, Max. 0-2. Come on.
Another 0-2.
Ground ball should end the inning. And it does. All right, Max. There you go. All right. Max, that was his first tough inning of the game. Couple of key hits for the Braves, getting the game tied. Going to the top of the fifth. Mets won. Braves won. Once again, guys, I don't like blocking people, but when the point is, when you become a front runner and you're clearly a front runner, he can be back as Karen. He'll get blocked again as well. That's why I got Ken on here to moderate as well. That's fine. I don't like blocking people. Brave fans, I don't like blocking you guys either. I think it's fun having you guys on this channel. But when you come only to troll, then it just gets stupid when your team's winning and you're like, hey, look, I'm here. Let me be an ass. And this goes for Met fans too. I've blocked about 5 Met fans on this channel already because they're making stupid remarks. Don't do it. It's stupid. All right, so this is not blocking Brave fans. This blocks anybody who's just stupid. Yeah, exactly, Maddie. What happened to DeGrom? He just hasn't pitched well. That's basically it. Exactly, Jake. Again, it's not like I'm making this stuff up. Like, it's clear. Like, I told people this yesterday. You want to be a Braves fan? You're a Braves fan. You want to hang on the channel? You want to talk your stuff? Talk through the whole game. And that's why I appreciate some Brave fans that are on here now because of the fact of that. My favorite player right now is not even a Met. One of my favorite plays is Dansby Swanson, actually, currently. Just because I followed him through high school and college and stuff. So that's why I like him. So just waiting for the commercial to come back. Getting to the top of the 5th. New ball game, 1-1. Coming down to the middle of the innings. Again, Scherzer has this inning every now and then. Braveheart, that's true. I know I know that was shocking to some Brave fans. But that is nice to see for you guys, though. Getting run without a home run. But that is, as I think you understand, Braveheart, it's far and few between. But that's nice to see. You're not going to hit a lot of home runs off of Scherzer, so you got to hit him when you can. All right, so Nito leading off, 9-1-2 for the Mets.
Tomas Nito, number 9 hitting catcher, leads off the 5th inning for the Mets. All tied now.
Now, what the Mets need to do, like the Braves did yesterday, Mets took the lead, Braves scored. The Mets need to do the same thing.
Better rhythm with his fastball. And his fastball got him a couple walks in the first inning, got him behind the 8 ball, if you will. And he always has his curveball and breaking ball whenever he wants it, but he pitches off the first side of the rubber, and that's the easier side to lose your front shoulder, lose your command on your fastball. It just seems like his rhythm is better. Got through that first inning without, with minimal damage. Throwing his fastball a lot better.
Ball 3.
Fastball misses inside. 3 balls and a strike to Nito. Got 30-pitch first inning for Wright.
I don't think it's on the downside. I just think that you can't trust him health-wise. Ground ball. Nice play by Swanson. And this is why I like Swanson.
That's a great play.
Not an easy play there.
Right down the middle, it squares up. And Swanson knows who's hit, right? So when he gets it, he's got plenty of time. He doesn't have to panic. Takes his time. He throws a snipe to first.
Another good at bat by Nito. Seems like it's
baseball the last 2 years.
A lot. It seems like it's all the time now with Nito.
As far as he will be a free agent, and he's having a great free agent season.
Wish people could have seen your eyes like I did when you said that.
He is. It's best timing.
A good shortstop class coming on the market this winter. First pitch strike to Nemo.
Interesting to see. I think the Braves will sign back Swanson. Kevin, no problem, buddy. I know you're a Braves fan, but that's cool. I'm glad I can bring some content. Hey, B-Watts, what's up? And Nemo, another hard hit ball, but right to Rosario. 2 outs. That might be a possibility. Yes.
What a pivotal 3-game series. Braves winning last night, so the Mets and the Braves now 98-59. Both teams are guaranteed a spot in the postseason, but who will win the division? There is no game 163 anymore with the new playoff format. That is a thing of the past.
All right, Pete Alonso up at bat with nobody on. 2 outs.
Here's Pete Alonso.
Well, it's not like we're striking out all over the place. We're hitting hard hit balls right at the players, so
and the resources
can't do nothing about that.
Expand to get to this point could be tough for both clubs in the sense that it could go down to the final game of the season. 2 great rules. First, the playoff change, fantastic, rewarding the best 2 teams. The other playoff change, everybody plays at the same time on the final game of the season, which is huge.
Alonso swinging at that slider like always.
Rotation or change something personnel-wise if a game is going to final if you're on the West Coast. Competition out of the East. Ever since that first inning, it has been a story of efficiency for Kyle Wright. 2 outs, nobody on. 0-2 to Alonso.
And Alonso 2-out hit.
Into left field. Alonso is aboard for the second time.
That time he stayed in on that slider.
National League on the right. Right now we have the Mets as the 2 seed, the Braves.
Oh, Japan, okay.
Panic. It's simply because of the head-to-head. As it stands right now, the Mets have a 1-game
Well,
advantage.
Lion, the reason why Wright wins 20 games is because your bullpen's very good.
But if you
right?
look at the two
Wins
sides,
aren't
the top
much of a
and
thing
bottom, right,
anymore
really
that
who
you
can
get a lot of
avoid
credit
playing
for.
the Dodgers
I mean,
the
Carrasco has the most
most,
wins
right?
as the Mets, as we talked about
And
yesterday.
who can avoid using their resources in that best of three? That takes on either the Mets or the Braves in that second series, kind of
All right, Francisco up,
using
2
some pretty
outs,
good
1 on.
resources. So puts those teams in advantage having a bye.
Oh,
Right
Jesus.
off the home
That
plate umpire's
nailed
mask.
the umpire.
And when you start building the roster of your potential game 1 and game 2 starters, you really want to face the Mets and DeGrom
Ouch.
and Max Scherzer and Bassett, having come off of, let's say, a 3-game series or a 2-game series. That's the difference of this year being rewarded for the long journey and the best 2 records. Dodgers have had that sewed up for a long time, so they have never been swept. But it's these 2 clubs that are trying to get that second seed.
For more of the Dodgers, Ken.
Well, I'll give you a counterpoint. If you face the Dodgers in a 7-game series, they could grind you down with their depth. You might be better off getting them in a 5-game series. I'm not saying you'd rather finish second in the NL East and have the chance of losing a best of 3, but there is that element. The Dodgers are so good, you might not want them in 7.
Yeah, just to pick your poison, right? I mean, you're hoping if you can avoid them until the later series that they get knocked off, which would be like unthinkable. You're hoping to avoid them altogether. Again, that seems unthinkable.
I just know
Why do they talk like the Dodgers? Like the Dodgers won 3 years in a row. Makes no sense to me. Like the Dodgers get knocked off every year, except for the pandemic year, which is still up in the air as a legitimate season. I don't get that.
anything but the first and second seed based on the way the National League is set up because it's so top heavy. Not saying it's impossible.
Lindor, Harris.
And that's a base hit by Lindor. Broke his bat, but first and second, 2 2-out hits.
Mets continue to apply the pressure. Alonso
And Jeff McNeil up with 2 outs. See if McNeil can get a nice RBI here. You know, I hate when they keep on talking about favorites in baseball anymore. When it's, you know, how many years in a row have the Yankees and Dodgers have been the favorites to make the World Series or win the World Series, and they don't make it? Hey, Ben, that's a great point. The Dodgers are the 90s of the Braves. One championship with all those division titles. The difference is the Braves have a better manager than the Dodgers. Dave Roberts is a joke. All right, Jeff, come on. Base it here.
That right there, anything sinking away gets him to hit the ball on the ground and maybe be a tiny bit off balance.
So the changeup has been a really good pitch this year for Wright. A lot of swings and misses, low average against it.
Well, yeah, but the Braves have a team that can win it all this year. The Mets, the Astros. So, you know, they're thinking like the Dodgers just because they're going to have the most wins in the NL, act like they're just going to win the World or make the World Series. And base hit. That's an RBI single. 2-1 Mets. There we go. 2-out rally by the Mets. There we go. 3 hits in a row, baby. First and third, 2 outs. Good job.
That's a byproduct of why this Mets lineup and this team is so good. They rally, they come back late. No inning is easy because they
Escobar up now.
and that is just classic inning.
Let's go. Keep that 2-out rally going. This is what we haven't seen from the Mets in about a month. 2-out rallies like this.
He just drives the ball over the infield.
There you go, Jeff. Jump pumped up for that hit right there. There you go.
We see all the time. Come to the postseason, how hard it is to
Maybe I shouldn't have blocked Marcus because he probably wouldn't show up anyway now, right?
With 2 outs. 3 straight singles. We mentioned earlier how contact-driven this Mets lineup is. 3rd lowest strikeout rate, 3rd highest contact rate. And yet, it seems like, John, here's your thoughts. They have found kind of a
Come on.
sweet spot there. They're still a top 10 team. In
Come on,
terms of
Esker.
squad. You know,
Escobar.
runs back, a lot of doubles.
There's another big run right there at third base right now.
Alonso's a big part of that run.
85 pitches for Kyle Wright.
Look, they've had a hard time offensively for whatever reason in their home ballpark until recently.
I just don't like front runners, man. I just don't.
Huge to move defenses in, but I think the confidence of their lineup gives the ability to.
Well, he won 20 games because the bullpen
Next guy can
won a lot of those games too. But he's not a bad pitcher at all. I mean, look what he did in the World Series for you guys. All right, Eddie, come on, base hit. Keep it moving with two outs. There you go.
Yeah, the best chapter in what was just a scalding hot month of September.
Getting closer to that car that Lindor is going to buy him for the batting title.
And well below 200 in August. Wednesday in Miami, 3 hits. He drove in all 5 runs for the Mets, including the walk-off base hit.
Ground ball should end the inning. Damn shift. All right, so the Mets take back the lead in the 5th on a Jeff McNeil 2-out RBI. 3 hits in a row for the Mets with 2 outs. Mets are leading 2-1 going to the bottom of the 5th. See if Marte can come back. I'm sorry, Marte. Jesus. Scherzer can come back and have a little better inning than he did in the 4th. Once again, what you want from Scherzer, team gave you back the lead. They picked you up, picked them back up, and put zeros on the board in the 5th. That's what you got to do there. So Mets show a little bit of fight with 2 outs. Nice to see. Vogelback is behind Escobar. Listen, it looked bleak, right? 2 straight outs in the 5th, and then 3 consecutive hits. Alonso, Lindor, and McNeil. So B. Watts, I think it's great. It's nice to see. Like I said, that fan base, they got a great fan base there. They've been beaten down just like many other baseball sports fans have over the years. When you don't make the postseason for 21 years, I mean, it's very hard to remain loyal to your team. It's not easy. And I get that. But it's nice to see. They are a wild card team, but who the hell cares? You made the playoffs, right? Pretty good possibility that they'll probably be playing. They're going to be playing the Astros in. Well, they're going to play the wild card, but I think the seeding stays the same. So, yeah, streams are a little behind, for whatever reason. But Seattle, like I said, you could see the talent when the Mariners came to Seattle to Citi Field. You could just see the talent. They needed Luis Castillo to fill out that rotation. That put them over the top there. Again, and their pitching is really good, so they can win. They can definitely do some damage in the playoffs. They can easily sneak out a series against the Yankees or the Astros because of their pitching. So, well, they put a straight lineup, Delight. But hey, we got the lead back. That's important. Going to the bottom of the 5th. We got to see Scherzer put up zeros in the next inning. Lawrence, thank you for the super chat. Yes, we do need Marte, of course, but the Mets are still good enough to get it going. Come on, Max. Need a big inning here for Max. 9-1-2 for the Braves.
As soon as you throw it, you're like, oh, no. It's a breaking ball that stays too much in the zone. And, of course, Alonso gets what looks like a harmless base hit. It turns into 2 more base hits. That's lead.
Nice. Strikeout. 1 out. There you go. Good stuff by Scherzer in the 5th. Well, how can he go not Walter White?
He is now tied Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins, 12th all time.
Well, John, yeah, that's why I said some baseball fans deal with it a lot.
Yeah, but Justin Verlander and him are going to be jockeying back and forth for a while.
All right. 1 out. Bottom 5, 2-1 Mets.
Rotation mates. Back to the top of the order, Acuna fouls this away.
Again, it's always a confidence booster when your team goes ahead and your pitcher puts up zeros that same inning to keep the lead and get your offense back up there with a 2-1 lead. Always a confidence booster. You got to do it.
Scherzer's teams have won his last 5 starts against the Braves. That includes all 3 this year. He's pitched in the 7th inning each time. A check swing.
Check swing. That's going to fall.
Is this going to be fair? Takes a wide turn, throws it in reverse.
Well, excuse me, swing. Find some grass. Got fooled,
Check swing, got a hit.
but got the hit.
That, when you're good, you're good.
Well,
Did he go?
I don't know. I don't know if he went. I think he might be able to say he didn't go.
It's amazing how far a ball can go on the check swing, right?
They go right now.
That's his mind. That's just a fluke and no big deal. But what he is thinking right now is, how do I keep him at first base? Right? I mean, he's grinding out. Max smells wins after the 5th inning about as good as anybody.
All right, see if the Mets can try to get a double play here. Will not be easy for sure, but Acuna can be a threat to steal.
He's got 28 of them. Has been coddled at times, though. Ball to Dansby Swanson.
I really think there's going to be an interesting twist to the rules that come in.
McNeil's hit wasn't a blooper. That was a line drive to left center.
Only twice per at bat, right?
Yeah, either throw it over or disengaging,
I
right?
haven't been there yet, but just from TV, it's a really nice ballpark for sure.
Now, you can throw over a 3rd time. You just got to get them.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Well, it'll be tough to get double up again. This damn shift with a runner on, it's not going to go well.
Shift on here for Swanson.
Swanson can hit the ball the other way. That's why I don't get it. I don't like that shift here.
Another throw.
All Max is trying to do at this point is just create a timing issue and mess up the timing of Acuna.
Well, they're going to take Rookie of the Year votes away from each other, but probably Harris for sure.
Long hold.
Nice pitch.
Swing and a miss. So Wright really had Cruz through the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Got the first 2 outs.
I never like to shift with runners on. I don't think it makes sense, but the Mets do it. Most teams do it.
Throws a water balloon over there.
I think Acuna is going to go on this pitch. And he's not.
He's just really trying to create stress so that it affects the pitches that come to Swanson at the plate, and then the hitter benefits.
Check swing. They appeal.
Oh, I don't know if he went on that check swing. Wow, that call went to the Mets there. Close, but I don't think he went. Let's see. It could go either way.
Just saying, hey, look what you got a hit off one of those. Instead, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
All right, 2-2.
Well, Acuna at first base. Another long hold. In the dirt. Save over at first
Almost
base.
got him out at first. Full count to Swanson. That was close.
Good slide to get back. Switched hands right at the last minute. Hit the tag right.
Uh-oh. That might be gone. It's gone. 3-2 Braves. Swanson once again. Scherzer giving up a 2-run bomb, giving the lead right back. That was a hanging slider right there. Woo! Well, that's what I tell you. You can't give that lead back. Can't give that lead back. You left a hanging slider right there. 3-2 Braves. That's why I like Swanson. 3-2 Braves.
That's a good pitch. Could have been called a strike. Should have been. Harris catches a break.
Yeah, I didn't like that pitch either, but
Well, he hasn't missed many
Oh.
fastballs. 3-2.
that was a fastball right down the middle.
Acuna is running, and he'll have to run after that. You can tell.
Well, he challenged him. Swanson swung.
Importance of the Acuna check swing base hit now. Looms large.
Harris pops it up.
Leo and
2 outs.
Nimmo rather, and Harris just keep hitting fly balls to one another. There's out number 2. Back to it.
Really thought we'd see a
Let's
3-2
see.
slider.
Hey, he threw a fastball right down the middle.
Center cut. Dansby so far is having a phenomenal series against 2 of the best pitchers in the National League.
Frenchie strike 1 and catches the edge. Riley has a couple of hits tonight. He has singled and doubled, also scored a run. This is blasted.
That might be gone too.
Is it fair?
Foul ball.
It is a foul ball. We've had a few of those signs. 0-2.
We're watching a veteran pitcher who's out there without his best stuff.
Yeah, exactly what DeGrom did yesterday with that
Finish on the pitch. You can tell
fastball
there's
right down the middle.
Just a little bit off, but he's still grinding. He was one pitch away from leaving the 5th, possibly with a 1-run lead. Now he's got 1-run deficit.
And he strikes out Riley to end the inning, but not before. The Braves, Swanson hits a 2-run homer to give the Braves back, gives the first lead of the ball game, 3-2. Well, you can't judge the 2015 Mets against the 2022 Mets until the postseason is over. And in 2015, the Mets had no competition in the NL East after they swept the Nationals at Citi Field in August or early September. All right, Carlos, have a good. I'll see you back. All right, so we're going to the top of the 6th. Mets got to come back. Very simple. Left a mistake, and look, Swanson's too good of a hitter to miss that pitch. That's not the pitch you wanted to throw there. He challenged him. Swanson beat him. Yep. It is a game. Hey, JD, are you a Met fan today or no? Are the Dodgers going to choke in another 162-game season? Yes. You see, JD only comes back when the Mets are losing, right? You see? Yet he calls himself a fan of the Mets, but is a Dodger fan. So. All right, so let's see the Mets here. Let's see. So it'll be 6, 7, 8 for the Mets, going to the top of the 6th. 2015 Mets have 90 wins. Again, they were like the Braves who got hot at the right time in the playoffs. That was basically what happened. Ralph, because a team in your division is just as good. That's why.
How about these numbers for the Braves? If they just homer at least one time, they're 19-2. Without going deep, 0-7.
Dylan Lee is in the game, the lefty for the Braves.
Dylan Lee, he's had a pretty good year. He's doing.
Well, it's not fair for either team. They're both making the playoffs. Oh, Alvarez is pitching for Vogelback.
Just called up by the Mets, top prospect in baseball. Made his major league debut last night. He's a catcher, but will be DHing. For the numbers this year, the minors, AA and AAA, suffered through an ankle injury in AAA, which lowered his numbers.
He's got some pop in his bat, but he's another guy that likes to swing, and he'll find out over time here in the big leagues as he settles in. He'll have to kind of cut down the rapid which.
You sure about that, John? Because Pete Alonso really didn't do nothing these first 2 games.
A chance for some damage. This should be nowhere close to the straight zone. If you think along with the pitcher.
So he's brought up to get at bats against lefties. The DH, right-handed hitting, designated hitters have been a real weak link for the Mets this year. Went out and they got Darren Ruff, who for his career been great against lefties. That has not worked out so far. 2-2.
Well, like we said, to be fair, every team deals with some injuries, but the injury to Marte has really changed the dynamic of
the John. That's just stupid too. Come on, that doesn't even make sense.
Free agents that were picked up and don't know what the season will look like if and when he can get back. But that was a big blow. They really haven't had any.
What he didn't admit is that Marte has been one of the better players on the Mets all year. And pops it up. Should be 1 out.
Harris trots in a few steps. Low away. That's a big news. Big development for Alvarez to make his major league debut last night. For more on that, Ken.
Yeah, Jacob, he is, because he can replace a guy on the 15 or 60-day IL, so he will be playoff eligible.
He uses a 34-inch, 32-ounce bat a lot in the estimation.
JD, I think my World Series prediction in the beginning of the season was Toronto and I forgot who I had the National League. I think that, see, the problem with quick 2 outs, kind of swinging at the first pitch. Pete, not the way he's been pitching for the last month. No, Jacob. He'll probably replace Ruff or whoever else is on the IL. Lion, that's not true because they've been good against good teams all year. Your Braves haven't been good against all good teams, except for the Mets lately.
I'm glad we didn't have those things when I was playing.
The iPads?
Yeah.
You're more of a clipboard guy?
No, I'd be watching a lot of it. I'd be watching a lot of the pitches. You get sometimes, I mean, it's good for hitters and all that. Sometimes you get to if you're pitching at the game, and you know when you release the ball. I mean, it's more for later work. Let me see that pitch. Let me watch that inning.
On Saturdays, you'd be watching Michigan State on that thing. What you be doing?
They don't allow that on
You figure it out.
their program.
Popped up, should end the inning.
Softly popped up foul.
And Mets don't score. 3-2 Braves going to the bottom of the 6th. All right, guys. So once again, don't forget to hit on that like button if you're just tuning in. Just tuning in. 2-run home run by Swanson, giving the Braves a 3-2 lead. Mike, no, they're Smoltz is a Brave, but he's been critiquing the Braves just as much as the Mets. Well, the bottom of the order has been garbage for the Mets, so I don't expect much from that. Okay, and what about the other good teams you faced? The Phillies aren't a good team, so come on. We can wash out the Mets and the Braves beating Philly. All right, we beat the Dodgers as well. We didn't beat Houston, but we beat the Cardinals. We beat the Brewers, right? All the teams in the West. We beat teams in the American League as well that are really good. Well, it could be that, but I don't even think I put – if I'm not mistaken, I think I put the Braves in the NLCS with the Dodgers, if I'm not mistaken, in the beginning of the season. Well, the Braves and the Mets both won more games than I predicted for both of them. I checked this morning. I had the Braves win in 96 games and the Mets win in 94. They both are going to be past. They obviously passed that already, so. Yeah, but you're also 10 games under 500 against good teams over 500 when the Mets are 11 games over 500 against good teams. That's basically the difference in the division for the last month as well, Lion. Ralph, you're not making no sense. Edgardo, that's true, yes. All right, so Scherzer's still in the game in the bottom of the 6th, 3-2 Braves.
Mistake. Hopefully you put it in play because it's just he's such a competitive guy and just never quit pitching. You told us before.
Well, JD, let me ask you. You're a Dodger fan. 2015, the Dodgers won every game of the series in the season against the Mets, and we beat you in the NLDS. The series don't matter in the season when it comes to the
trials and tribulations of the postseason, and it becomes kind of normal.
And that's a home run. Gone. 4-2 Mets. I'm Braves, excuse me. Olsen hits a 4th home run against Scherzer. Well, exactly what is predicted. Braves hit home runs, they win.
What is that, 5 now against 2 of the best? Well, Swanson and Olsen have homered in back-to-back nights. Top of the barometer,
Darno's up, nobody out, bottom 6. Ground ball, and 1 out.
Well, he stayed back long enough on that changeup. See how that changeup, he gets it a little bit off the end of the bat, but he knows he may have got enough because he lifts it in the air. Ball travels. It's a little cooler. Latter couple months here in the season, but just creeps over the wall.
We talked about how this is a playoff game, right? This series, it's a playoff series. These two teams tied for the top record in the East. It's the only division in baseball that has not been decided. DeGrom, 3 home runs last night allowed. Braves win. Scherzer, 2 home runs.
So Scherzer has 92 pitches, 6 innings, 4 runs, 2 runs for the Mets. Well, Keith and Gary would be killing them right now. Somebody, who is that? New sub, who is that? Leaf, how you doing? Thank you for subbing.
But I've seen Max enough, and knowing that 2 times now he's had to come back from a similar injury, it's human nature just to protect a little bit. I'm not saying that's what he's doing. I just think that his finish on his pitches is just enough off to get these Braves hitters who are good the ability to square up some pitches. And when
guys, it is the 6th inning, not over yet.
We've seen before, there's an extra oomph and maybe even a grunt. There's none of that tonight. And he's battling like he always does, trying to give his team a chance to win a game.
Ralph, if you thought the 2015 Mets were World Series contenders, you probably wouldn't have thought they were either. I don't know how you think the Mets are far from it. I just don't get it. We basically have the same record as the Braves, so why are the Braves better? It's a stupid comment. Doesn't matter how old you are, it's a stupid comment.
Mets scored back in the first as Lugo warms in the Mets bullpen. Braves tied into the 4th inning.
Well, Leaf, we will see, right?
Mets regained the lead of the 5th. But since then, a couple of home runs by the Braves. Swanson a 2-run shot. Then Olsen to lead off this bottom of the 6th inning.
The optics of coming into this series after the Braves lost.
I'm not taking it personal, but you're making it seem like the Mets are 70 and 90, 70 and 80. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Right, perfectly. You got DeGrom, you got Scherzer, and last night's game for the Braves, I mean, to state the obvious, did more for them than it did harm for the Mets, because they had to have that game last night. Right, they're 2 games back with 2 to play. The numbers just don't look good when you say it's not impossible, but that game they won against DeGrom was a huge boost. Max Fried pitches 5 innings, gets sick, and you mentioned about the blister. That set up this kind of game, of which now the Braves are showing that battle-tested defending champ kind of, hey, we can chase it down and possibly win this division.
Number 100 for Scherzer and DeGrom. Make it sound like he does not believe the blister is concerning. Roll over to third base once again, Escobar.
It should be the 2nd out, and it is. Well, Jason, again, why does people matter why you be a better team? Were the Braves better than any team last year? They had the worst winning as a record going into the playoffs. They won the World Series, so why does that matter? That's why I don't understand why people are saying it. Well, Leaf, you're a dick, because the Mets are way better than the Phillies. And if that's the case, then the Braves aren't better than the Phillies, because the Phillies, you have a 500 record against the Phillies, so I don't understand that. Well, Boogie, that's the bigger problem with the. Then your mother doesn't matter. I mean, you guys show up only when you're winning. I mean, can you be more of a front runner?
It's the first and only S1P receptor modulator approved for UC. Don't take Zeposia if you've had a heart attack.
I don't know, but I bet Brave fans weren't confident you were winning the World Series last year. You won 88 games.
If you have untreated sleep apnea or TMAOIs, Zeposia may cause serious side effects, including infections that can be life-threatening and cause death. Slow heart rate, liver breathing problems, increased blood pressure, macular edema, swelling and narrowing of the brain's blood vessels, and increased risk of PML, a rare brain infection.
Again, the Braves won 88 games last year.
Tell your doctor if
They won the World Series, right?
Don't let UC stop you from doing you.
It doesn't matter what you do during the
If you're
season,
living with
right?
moderate to severe ulcerative colitis, ask your doctor
Right? The
about
Braves
blood
weren't better than the
thinners,
Dodgers. They weren't better than the Astros, but they
with
beat them.
operations in Scotland,
If you think a
technologists
better
in India,
record
and customers
means you're
all
going to win a
want
World
different
Series,
systems,
you're a fool for thinking that.
so you call in IBM and Red Hat to create an open hybrid cloud platform. Now data is available anywhere securely. And your digital transformation is
Miguel, that's the point I'm trying to make, but you Brave fans don't understand that.
Let's create a hybrid cloud that can change an industry.
You guys were the worst team going into the playoffs last year. What are they, one game better than the Phillies this year? Yeah, JD, I lost it. I'm not going to lie. I saw it and it got lost in the chat. That's my apology. Oh, there it goes. This time of year excited. We can all agree. Yes, JD, absolutely.
There's a better way to bring the game home.
What's up, Carlos?
Visit
Get back.
MLBshop.com for today's special offer. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Oh, Dylan shows up when the Mets are winning. When the Mets are winning, you're not here. Now you are. Front running Brave fans. How many were you a Brave fan starting in 2021? Let's talk team history. Again, that's what they do.
Lugo, the curveball specialist.
Lugo is in the game in 2 outs in the 6th.
New York. He's carved out quite the career for himself. When you look at the numbers,
Ryan, I've been talking about the Braves' historic second half since June 1st. I don't see why you think I wasn't talking about that. But April and May matter as well.
The timing of it is perfect too, because some of those guys that hit those home runs.
That's fine. I'm not a goofball. You're a dick. Then why are you on the channel then if you're at the game? Shouldn't you be enjoying winning right now? I don't understand that.
You leave spring training, even if you're not the defending champs, you want a chance to play for a series like this.
Well, if you look at the 2015 Mets, they limped into the playoffs in 2015. The last week of the season, they lost 4 out of 6. All right, so going to the top of the 7, 4-2 Braves. Well, JD, that's what I'm saying. They were, but also if you look at other teams like the Yankees in 2009, they stumbled across the finish line at the end of the season. Mets in 2015 stumbled on the finish line in 2015. Yeah, they won the division, but they played like crap the last week of the season going into the playoffs, and they made a run in the World Series. And I think the people forget this. If the Braves would have won the wild card, they can't win the World Series? Of course they can. Right? The same reason why Seattle Mariners can win the World Series. They made the playoffs. Brandon, I agree with that. I think the Epler did a piss poor job in the bullpen this year for the Mets. And that's one of the bigger problems. Why I never claimed that the Mets will win the World Series. People assume that because I'm a Mets fan, I'm just going to assume that. But I'm also realistic when it comes to that as well. Like, you need a good bullpen in the playoffs, unless you got some starters that you can throw in there, what the Mets are trying to do. But it's not looking like McGill and David Peterson are those type of guys. Well, Alexander, yeah, but again, the Cubs, I think, took 5 out of the 6 games in the season, and the Dodgers won every game against the Mets in 2015. Yet everybody just assumed both of those teams were going to beat the Mets, and they didn't. So that's the whole point I was trying to make. Again, it would actually be interesting to see the Dodgers actually get to win a World Series in a 162-game season. Yeah, Ryan, see, I didn't feel that way, though. I thought the Braves were so hot that they were going to beat anybody. Now, again, I didn't think you were going to beat the Astros, to be honest with you. But the Dodgers are so beatable. They always are beatable. If you look at their lineup every year, after the fourth batter, they don't have a good lineup. They got good pitching, but the Dodgers seem like they choke every single year in a 162-game season. The Braves seemed like they were way too hot to let that happen. No, I would not want to stop acknowledging the Braves fans. I don't see a problem with that. All right, 9-1-2 for the Mets. Chavez in the game in the 7th.
A well-traveled reliever, Jesse Chavez. Even this year, he's bounced back and forth.
I mean, he's amazing. I mean, nothing's going to pop out as having this dynamic stuff.
Ellie and I agree.
I just think he gets after it, the hitter, throws strikes, and is fearless. 39 years old, still getting it done, no matter what team he's playing for.
Well, yeah, Jason, we're missing Marte. That would help the lineup. But you also gotta give some blame on Scherzer and DeGrom too. 2 times in this game, the Mets gave Scherzer a lead. He didn't do it.
Guess who picked him up? Comes back to Atlanta. Played with 9 different teams. Has a lot of coordinating rec specs. Balls at 2 strikes.
And Needles takes strike 3 right down in the middle, 1 out. Well, Lion, the Mets did it in 2015. They were garbage in the last 2 weeks of September in 2015. Ryan, oh yeah, that's a guarantee. That's absolute. But again, this Mets team, if they have been hitting more home runs in September and they've been losing. The problem is they haven't been getting the bunch together of hits like they usually get. The Mets have been hitting, if you look at this in September, they're hitting a ton of more home runs. The problem is they're losing those games when they're hitting a ton of home runs. Oh, JD, you weren't here when I blamed Buck yesterday? Putting McGill in the 7th?
That's why I know we have all this technology, but I don't get carried away with a guy who throws 100 and gives up a lot of hits. Give me a guy that throws 92 that the hitter goes looks like 100, and vice versa. There are some guys that throw.
Well, Ricky, you made it interesting yesterday.
But the object of hitting is recognizing spin and timing, and if you can mess with the timing of the hitters with your delivery or a certain pitch mix, you got an advantage.
Well, Jake, you listen to some Brave fans, you would think the Mets are 20 games out of first place.
Chavez has always been fairly slightly built. His freshman year in high school, he weighed 120.
And thank you for subscribing, Jake. Thank you.
High school, he weighed 130.
Ooh, close pitch.
When he got into pro ball, with the Rangers many years ago, he was so dedicated to gaining good weight, he lived with a nutritionist.
Jake, that's the reason why the division is so important for both teams. Because nobody wants to play an extra series. It's clearly tougher. No matter who you're playing, you got to go through another round.
7 years and 5 different organizations to pick up his first 300 major league innings. He really had to grind. To his 15th big league season now.
Oh, Arcia missed the ball there. Got a 1 out. There might be an error from Arcia there.
Big for the Mets right there because you got some thunder coming up.
Oh, and let's not act like the Braves hasn't made mistakes in this series. The Mets did not take advantage of them. Yesterday with Rosario, they only scored 1 run on them on the errors. And Arcia just made a mistake here. They got to capitalize on the mistakes here. The Braves made a couple in these first 2 games. Big spot for Pete here.
For the first pitch strike.
Forearms got to be some of the strongest in the game. I mean, he is such a good low ball hitter. He showed us what he could do in a home run derby and his philosophy in hitting home runs. But you're not going to see many guys go out of the zone and hit with power like he does.
Uh-oh.
Shoots this out to right center field.
Broke his bat. Broke his bat.
Here's a good example. That ball takes 2 inches back towards the middle of the plate. That's gone. But that's the beauty of pitching on the
Broke his bat.
Just getting off the barrel of the bat. He knows how close this was. But look, this is off the plate. And he goes after it. And
Just off the end of the bat.
Misses. The ability to hit a ball
Off the end of the bat. Sound like it broke too.
Two outs, Nemo at first base. Here comes Lindor. He's been aboard twice tonight, a couple of singles. Starting a new on-base streak. He saw his 19-gamer snap last night.
Ground ball should end the inning.
Handles this one smoothly.
And it is. Going to the bottom of the 7th, 4-2 Braves. Brian, I wouldn't say your bullpen's sketchy at all, suspect at all. I mean, besides Jansen, you got one of the better bullpens in the league. I wouldn't say that. Well, Jake, yeah, they were the first 2 innings, but again, they haven't tacked on runs when they had runners on. They got that 1 run, they got that 2 run, and then they don't tack on. Yeah, well, Jake, in the month of September, the Mets haven't been tacking on nothing. So it's been 1 run on either a productive out or a mistake by a fielder. That's what the Braves have. That's what the Mets have done. I mean. Iglesias or what's his name? Minter might come in. They might throw in Minter because the Mets have a hard time hitting lefties. I mean, it would be ironic, right? Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer, you would think would pitch extremely well, and Chris Bassett, the 3rd pitcher, might have a better day than both of them. It's crazy because Bassett actually has been our best pitcher over the last 2 months, which is ironic to say since you have deGrom and Scherzer. I agree, Shimmy. Eddie, we'll see. You just never know, right? All right, Adam Ottavino. Well, Steven, it's not a day game. It's a Sunday night baseball game. All right, top of the order RC is leading off. Ottavino's in the game in the bottom of the 7th.
So here's a guy that creates a unique angle. Starts on the first base side of the rubber, throws completely across his body to create movement and an illusion against right-handed hitters. It'll be tough to hit when he's on.
He's a slider specialist. That one misses off the plate. 9-1-2 due up here for Atlanta at the bottom of the 7th. First year for Ottavino with the bat, She was with the Red Sox for one season. 2 years prior to that, across town in the Bronx.
She's having a hard time picking up the ball, just jumping at the plate, but you can tell why that's a tough time. When the pitcher looks like he's throwing the ball behind you, the first move is if you move towards the opposing dugout, you're done as a hitter.
Fastball in the dirt to make it 3-2.
Yeah, Cody's right. You have to win only one game if you sweep the series.
Vino built a lab to create the illusion of this breaking ball that he loves to throw. A pitching lab in his apartment. Right there.
Money well spent.
1 out.
Well, we want to know why Jesse Chavez is pitching in the big leagues. He dots a cutter outside off the barrel of the bat. Next hitter comes up, dots it on the other side of the plate.
Well, Miguel, that's what I've been saying. They're one of the biggest strikeout teams and the biggest home run hitting team. You keep them in the park, you have a good chance of beating the Braves.
Leadoff man retired. Here's
The Mets haven't kept them in the ballpark.
and a couple of base hits tonight.
Notice a little version of the Juan Soto-ism out of Acuna and some of his takes lately. You might see one in this at bat. Little leg shuffle,
That's not true. If the Mets win tomorrow
lower half.
and they take one game in this series, all they have to do is it's up to them to take care of business. It has nothing to do with what the Braves do if the Mets take one game in this series.
A right field line, man out play.
The Yankees been saying that ever since 2010.
Discussion brought up. You had to draft those two
Yeah,
players.
Todd, he signed an arbitration, 1 year, $30 million.
Totally different type players for young superstars in Soto and Acuna.
Cloudy, I don't know about that because not the way the Mets have played in September.
Debuting in the same season, both so young, of course. Acuna was 20 when he debuted. Back in 2018, same season. Soto, 19 years old.
And the shift again.
Wide open right side, 3 hit 9.
Good piece of hitting by Acuna.
His speed is aboard. Been a big series so far for Dansby Swanson. You look at his home run, thanks to StatCast, powered by Google Cloud. That was a blast.
Jason, Soto could never been a bet, all right? The Nationals have never traded him in division at all. Braves or Mets.
In fact, Swanson has the hardest hit ball tonight, the home run we just saw. And 2 of the 5 hardest hit balls of play tonight.
Earlier, we talked about the 3 guys needing to get hot, and they were struggling in September. Well, they got hot in this series at the right time.
Hey, Ben, I agree with that.
And all 3 have contributed. In a
That was one of the guys I wanted.
The Atlanta Braves currently up 2, trying desperately to take a 1-game lead against the Mets.
I mean, how do you explain that? Right? How do you explain it? Like 3 really good hitters being cold for a whole month? They take on 2 of the premier, historically great starting pitchers, and they get hot.
I think the only way to explain it is you're so locked in because you know they're so good, you're looking for any mistake, right? Not that every pitcher they face they don't have respect for, but it's such in the moment that you know.
Well, Robinson hasn't pitched well for the Phillies. He has almost a 6 ERA. So that might not have been a good trade if the Mets made that.
Time call.
Like I would admit things now that I would never admit while I was was playing, but sometimes the team I feared the most was the team that was on an 8-game losing streak, or the guys that were 0 for 15 or 0 for 17. Because human nature, sometimes you think, well, sooner or later they're going to. You really want to face those guys in theory. But I think sometimes when you're facing a hot team, hot pitcher, great pitcher.
And, Ken, we were talking about this yesterday, right? The Mets were down by 2 yesterday. They put in McGill. Ground ball should be a double play. Run it. All right, got the double play there. End the inning.
He drops the shin guards down.
So going to the top of the 8, 4-2 Braves. So like I was saying yesterday, interesting development, right? We were down by 2 yesterday. He brought in Tyler McGill, which was a bad move. Today brings in Seth Lugo and Ottavino down by 2. And look what they do. They keep it at 2 runs. Could have been a major difference yesterday, even though the Mets didn't score an extra run, except for the second run. But again, that's the difference of putting your B relievers in and your A relievers in. A-bin, yes, I do. All right, guys, so we're going to the top of the 8, 4-2 Braves. Thank you for tuning in to the channel today for the game 2 of the stream. Well, Christian, that's unfortunate, but that's also right on Epler thinking that he was just going to change into a good hitter all of a sudden. Unfortunately, his father passed, but at the same time, again, that's Epler's fault for trading 4 guys, 1 in Davis and 3 minor leaguers. It made no sense. MB, you just never know. Thank you for the super chat. Well, no, I agree, Cody, but the Phillies also have to make the playoffs to actually have that happen. Mothman, no problem. Right now, it's the Padres, and I think the Phillies have a half-game lead or a 1-game lead. I'm not sure. Well, yeah, if he didn't – the whole point of it is why when there was guys available in the offseason, you wouldn't sign bullpen arms besides Ottavino when you know you needed bullpen help, yet you didn't make any type of decision except for Givens at the trade deadline. Made no sense. And Givens hasn't been back. Supposedly he had COVID and he still hasn't been back. It's been like 2 weeks. So I don't know. All right. Top of the 8th. Iglesias is in. Mets up, down by 2.
From the Angels, he has one of the best setup men in baseball, former closer.
And it's 4-5-6 for the Mets.
Different angles, different change of speeds. That change-up split is so good. See what he's done with Atlanta. The timing, again, perfect for what the bullpen needed.
He saw the minuscule ERA since joining the Braves. 1 earned run in 23 1/3 innings of the Braves bullpen.
Ground ball should be in out, and it is 1 out. Well, Brendan, you can talk about a lot of games during this month of September, not just the Cubs series.
I think I could watch this guy hit all day, and you just see doesn't have to have a perfect full swing. He was trying to serve that up the middle and got a little help. Keep saying to the view.
Oh, sorry about game day, guys. That thing went a little wacky.
A couple of base hits to that, including a go-ahead RBI in the 5th. It was the last time the Mets led. Braves hit a couple of home runs since then. Here's Escobar. Top of the zone. Borderline pitch, called a strike. Activity inside Buck Showalter's bullpen. Escobar had 2 balls in a strike. He said this so far tonight. Did pick up an RBI ground out way back in the first inning, however.
Yeah, that's a pitch he can go to whenever he wants to. He's got 96, but bottom drops out of that. Looks like he's coming right after you. 2-1 count. Swing over the top of it.
They got him.
Quick 2 outs for Iglesias.
This game has lived up to exactly what
It's funny, game day is quicker now than Fox.
Pitcher's duel, but nonetheless, well within striking distance for the Mets. You see this changeup coming out of his hand, fading away.
Still, once again, I don't get why Iglesias is not the closer for you guys. I don't get it. He's so good. Alvarez is up.
Alvarez came off the bench back in the 6th inning, took over for Vogelback.
2 outs, 4-2 Braves. Top of the 8th.
20-year-old Francisco holds onto the bat. Both things were true.
I was going to shave my head.
One of the most least impactful dares you'll hear about. Oh, 2. Well, he's an eager young hitter, just 20 years old, top prospect in baseball. Debuted last night. He has seen some tough stuff out of this Braves bullpen the last couple of nights.
Solid inning, as expected by Iglesias. Going to the bottom of the 8th, 4-2 Braves. Well, the point with Alvarez is that I think it was a month too late, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, the bottom of the order is up for the Mets when they got last licks. Well, if anybody expected Alvarez to come in the end of the season, in the biggest series of the year, and do anything, I'm sorry. He should have been up here a month ago. Well, not a doctor. Well, just think of it this way. It's up to the Phillies, right? The Mets and the Braves are making the playoffs. Thank you for the super chat. No, I'm not blaming Alvarez. Look, Alvarez is a swinger. Was always like that in the minors. You know, he does have a good eye at the plate, but he's a swinger, right? I'd rather him going down swinging, than seeing Vogelback look at a pitch or Ruff striking out every single time. All right, going to the bottom of the 5th, 4-2 Braves.
Full flavor, 0% alcohol, 100% on your game.
Well, Anthony, and that's the problem. If you're expecting 220 hitters to hit, like, you don't think Vogelback was hitting against righties in Pittsburgh? You don't think Ruff was hitting against lefties in San Francisco? There's still 220 hitters. That's not what you need in a DH spot.
He's funky. And right now, he's hoping to keep it within striking distance for the ninth.
Facing Michael Harris, who has flown out 3 times. He's stalled at a couple of them. He and Brandon Nebo have been playing catch with one another out there at center field tonight.
By the way, Peterson is in the game. Another guy who can't throw strikes. Why they put him in the bullpen is besides me. Remember, where are all the Mets fans that says, oh, Peterson and McGill are going to be in the bullpen? No. These guys don't throw strikes.
It's that fastball and for strike 1. So Peterson's especially tough on lefties this year.
Yeah, Anthony, but the problem with that is that you can't look at 220 hitters. It's not like you're getting Vogelback who has 35 home runs or Ruff who has 35 home runs. These guys have just as many home runs as Marte. So you weren't getting anything special at that DH spot. Platoons don't work in the DH spot. Nice pitch. 1 out.
Peterson fell behind 3-0, then strikes out the rookie. Enjoy the show as the regular season comes to a spectacular conclusion and get ready for what happens next. MLB postseason begins Friday. Go to MLB.com/postseason for the full schedule. The celebration for the division winners this year. National League East, the only division still up for grabs. These two teams enter tonight with an identical record.
Ground ball should be a base hit, and it is for Riley. 1 out hit for Riley.
First image we showed in that highlight as we watch another hit by Riley. Same scenario, inner half, in between third and short.
Well, Anthony, they were the wrong players from day one. I didn't like the trades when they went down. They didn't make sense at all.
Tell me they thought the Guardians were going to win the division and be in the position they're in right now. I know Seattle has broken. And it's going to come down to those.
Carlos, well, if National League keeps on winning, it's a good thing for us, right?
Here's Olsen.
But it is sure great to see Seattle end that drought of what has been too long, right? And now they get a chance to experience the playoffs for that city.
20-year playoff drought.
Alexander, you're talking about a superstar. Who was the superstar in the 2015 Mets?
Ninth inning home run. There's catcher Cal Raleigh. Meanwhile, the Guardians.
Cespedes was a really good player. He wasn't a superstar.
Maybe. Youngest team in baseball. Payroll of $60-ish million.
Payroll under DeGrom. Essentially,
Drew Smith is in the bullpen for the Mets.
Manager of the year, there's no doubt. Two to one. First 2 games versus DeGrom and Scherzer. 14 hits, 5 homers. They've tagged the pair for 7 runs in 11 2/3 innings.
And a ball that gets by Nito that should have been caught. Pass ball by Nito.
Three balls and a strike. Olsen homered his last at bat. He has a multi-hit night.
Nationals. Buck is getting a chance to see what Peterson can do in these kind of situations for the postseason. You think about their starting rotation and their bullpen, pretty heavily stacked already, but could there be a place for these kind of scenarios for Peterson? And seeing how he handles this tight game in the ninth inning.
Especially if you go up against the left-handed heavy lineup.
Yes.
And Peterson strikes out Olsen, 2 outs.
2 outs, a couple of strikeouts. Buck is coming out to make a change.
All right, so Buck's coming in
Acquired 3 batters.
to bring in Drew Smith with 2 outs and a man on second base to face the righty, the right-handed batter.
We should tell everyone that we just switched to Verizon's new local unlimited plan for just $30.
I already told everyone.
Wait, did you say Verizon for just $30?
It's their best.
So waiting for the pitch and change, a commercial right now. Braves lead 4-2, got a man on second with 2 outs. Drew Smith coming in the bullpen to face the right-hander. And I think it's, who is up? Darno. Well, yeah, that's absolutely true. Again, as good as the Braves look the first 2 games, if they don't win tomorrow, it's bleak for the Braves because it's not in their hands. Braves win tomorrow, it's definitely in their hands, and all they got to do is win 1 game against the Marlins. Mets, I mean, even if you were to put Pete Alonso 4th or whatever, but if look what happened when the Mets took get the second run of the ball game. If you don't have Pete Alonso in that spot, which number 2 hitter would have got that hit? You got Pete Alonso got a hit, Lindor got a hit, McNeil got a hit. So that worked today. Well, Brandon, it might not even come to that final game of the season if the Braves sweep the Mets because they only need 1 game against the Marlins. And the Mets would have to sweep the Nationals and pray the Braves get swept by the Marlins, and that's probably very unlikely. So I don't know what no, I think the Mets have that one in there too. Well, the last 5 years, so yeah, I believe. Well, no, because the Mets won in 2015. 2016, the Phillies won, and then it's been the Braves every other year, I believe. All right, here we go.
Braves won last night. And in position to win again tonight to take over the top spot tomorrow. Another great pitching matchup, Bassett versus Morton.
2-run homer by Swanson.
With another 200 strikeout season. Cardo swings and misses at a high fastball up and in from Drew Smith.
Yeah, Ken, Fox is also behind because game day is quicker than Fox for some reason. Yeah, the national games are behind in New York for some reason. Yeah, that's why we don't know who would be facing each other in wild card series because everybody's so close.
Because they came to town controlling their own destiny. They were the driver's seat. If the Mets on this tough task.
That's too clouded.
If they were to sweep the Braves, they would have won the East. Right. Of the left town division champions. They lost last night. So that is now out of the equation.
JD, they might not even have the talent to actually stay in the wild card spot. in the number 2 wild card spot. They can actually not make the playoffs. They have the talent, but they seem to choke every year too.
Coming into this series for the Braves' chances to be successful. They were 1 game back.
Well, Lion, yesterday you said Scherzer had the advantage over Wright yesterday, so you kind of contradicted yourself there.
Holds out the ninth. They got that chance.
And Drew Smith strikes out Darno. Mets are coming up in the top of the ninth, down by 2 runs with their last licks. Kelly Jansen coming in the ball game. Canna Naquinito. See what happens. Well, I always see it this way. Anybody can beat anybody in the playoffs. I don't care if you're a 105 team, 108 win team. Anybody can beat anybody. I mean, the Padres can actually not make the playoffs. Like, they're talented, but they might not make the playoffs. Well, the Mets had what? 8 hits tonight. It's just that they didn't rack them enough together when they had men on. That's the other issue. You know, again, this is what I was saying yesterday. The Braves went up by 2 runs just like they did yesterday. Yesterday it was Tyler McGill. Today it was Lugo, Ottavino, Drew Smith. They kept it 2 runs. Big difference when you put your A relievers in to your B relievers in, and you had the exact same deficit before McGill gave up those 2 runs to make it 5-1 yesterday. The Brewers are looking better. No, Brandon, if you look at it, the Mets are hitting more home runs in this month of September than they did any other month this year. And they've lost a lot more games in September than they did any other month. So what does that tell you? They're not a home run hitting team. They shouldn't be hitting home runs. They're a situational hitting team. They're a team that bunch hits together, get productive outs. That's what they got to do. Well, the Twins are out of it, Brandon. Not Brandon, sorry. Somebody said that. Who the hell said that? The Twins are out of it. The Cardinals are obviously division champs. So once again, guys, we're going to the top of the ninth. Kenley Jansen coming in to hold a 2-run lead for the Braves. And let's see if Jansen had a tough time yesterday. But he had a 3-run lead. Today he has a 2-run lead. Let's see if the Mets can hit Jansen and come back. Yeah, you said 20-game winner, but Wright is not a better pitcher than Scherzer.
Thing about Kenley Jansen, you don't know if the bases are loaded.
All right, here we go. 7-8-9 for the Mets.
Everything the same. One thing, though, in a very tight game like tonight, a runner on base, pretty hard for him to hold it there. Walk the second. First pitch strike. Jansen's had some turbulence this year. First year of the Braves free agent addition. In a recent 7-outing stretch, he blew 3 saves. The latest was on September 11th in Seattle. He gave up 2 home runs, I should say, and a walk-off win for the Mariners in Seattle. But since then, he's been able to right the ship by and large. Well, it's all about the movement of his cutter, and sometimes
Jansen has a problem when he gets runners on.
Of his own and takes a turn, because velocity has never been as important to him.
Well, that's what Lyons doing. Lyons said that Scherzer and Wright and making Wright that the pitcher matchup goes to the Braves. It didn't before the game.
Late cutter happens, then the hitter really has a hard time. 0-2.
3 pitches, 3 strikes for Jansen. 1 out.
I mean, that's right down the middle. But the late cut action and that long arm delivery with that glove in front of his face. Watch what they got to look at, and then the ball just kind of disappears in the middle of the zone. Now, if that ball didn't have the cutting action, hitter might square it out. That is what makes Jansen difficult at times to hit.
Nate Quinn up, 1 out for the Braves.
From last night, he was able to strike out Nate Quinn. This is low ball 1.
The other part for Jansen, there's times where he loses the strike zone.
Again, everybody keeps on saying the Padres. The Padres are 1 game up. They might not even make the playoffs
Out of his hand.
with 5 games to go.
He does throw strike 1 a lot to hitters.
Hayden Extra.
Now, since he became a full-time closer in 2012, he leads baseball in saves, second in appearances, most innings and strikeouts.
Oh, call that a ball.
Good take.
Down. That's a good take. Last night's game was a 3-1 game that ended up with the bases loaded, as we mentioned, and some nervous moments. This is just one batter gets on, the tying runs at the plate.
Ground ball should be 2 outs.
Garcia, short distance toss, 2 outs.
Quick 2 outs for the Mets. Nito coming up.
When the Mets came to town, they held the division lead by a game. And they're 1 out away from falling in second place. The Mets have been in first place in the East this year for all but 2 days. Whiskey Orme grabs the bat. Contact specialist. Nearly as many walks as strikeouts this year. Last hope for Buck Showalter, the Mets tonight.
All right, Luis Guillaume is pinching it for Nito.
He bats for Nito.
2 outs. Last out for the Mets.
Could have been ball 1, strike 1 instead. First sellout crowd of the season for the Braves.
Final strike.
That's down and final strike.
This place is not ready to erupt if they hit that final out.
The Braves, who are as far back as 10.5 games in the division. Since the first day in June, Atlanta has been better than every team in baseball but the Dodgers. And tonight, trying to hold to the top. The 1-2.
And the ball game is over. Braves win 4-2. Another lackluster performance offensively by the Mets. Both DeGrom and Scherzer give up more than enough runs than anybody expected, but the ball was not kept in the yard by Mets pitching, and that's the big reason why the Braves win, because that's how they win. Long balls, long balls, long balls. And now the Mets better come out tomorrow and play their ass off, because if they don't, division is over. And that's what the Mets got to hope for. That's the only thing they got to hope for. JD, it took 4 months for them to come back after 10.5 games. It's not a collapse. That's like 1 game a week, if you really think about it. So, Mets offense, terrible. Well, Lion, yeah, it could. Well, again, again, look, big 2 wins for the Braves, right? But they got to finish it off tomorrow. If they don't, well, these 2 games basically meant nothing, right? We talked about that for how long? And again, the Mets got to show up tomorrow. And look, Scherzer and DeGrom left it all up to Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett is the type of pitcher that he don't look like he has good stuff, but finds a way to get people out. And that's what he does. So we got to wait and see. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. Braves hit the long ball once again, and they won the ball game. That's exactly how they win ball games. They don't win it any other way, right? You keep them in the ballpark, you got a good chance of winning. If you don't, you lose. And it's been like that nearly the entire season with the Braves. And you know what? They got to Scherzer and they got to DeGrom. All the credit in the world. But these 2 games mean absolutely nothing if they can't win tomorrow. Which, let's be honest, they're going to be smelling blood in the water tomorrow. No doubt about that. But the Mets got to come out there, wipe off the dirt. You got kicked in the ass the first 2 games of the series. Come out and do your freaking job. Because if you don't do your freaking job, the Braves are winning the division. And then you got to go for a wild card series and play an extra series in the playoffs. That's it. Very simple. So with that said, guys, Braves win 4-2. No drama for Jansen tonight with a 2-run cushion, and he gets it done. Once again, Braves home runs, difference in the ball game. When it comes down to it, Mets got to show up. That's what they have to do. If they don't show up, tip your cap to the Braves because that's all you can do. And we will see what happens tomorrow with Chris Bassett on the mound and Charlie Morton on the mound. I always like that veteran presence of Charlie Morton. I said this to you before the series started. Charlie Morton is that type of pitcher. He's a veteran guy. If he's got his stuff going, he's not easy to hit. And Bassett been the Mets' best pitcher over the last month and a half. So, again, the Braves give them a ton of credit for taking advantage of the mistakes that Scherzer and DeGrom has thrown. And they got the runs off them. They hit the home runs. And that's what happened. And Chris Bassett, our best pitcher over the last month and a half, Scherzer and DeGrom, leave it up to him. We'll see what happens tomorrow, guys. Braves win 4-2. Take a 1-game lead in the NL East with 4 games to go. We will see what happens tomorrow. Everybody have a good night. See you tomorrow night. Have a good night, guys. Let's go Mets. See you next time, guys. Tim, thank you for the super chat, buddy.